All right, enough of that nonsense. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome in, welcome in. You got shades on. How goes this, sir?
I had to put the glasses on for you, my friend. Had to get this started right. Well, now that we're live here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Goonies of all ages. My name is Dustin Mario Johnson, and your host tonight, Mr. Knast, head of the Basement Show, the man, the myth, the legend himself, one of the biggest Goonies I've ever met. And we're going to bring to you guys here part 2 of our 40th anniversary recap with some serious special guests for tonight.
Yeah. We got 18 people in chat.
So we have a pretty big lineup tonight, man.
Yeah, I mean,
we have a huge lineup tonight.
I don't know how we're going to jam it all into one show, but this is going to be pretty epic. So I just wanted to thank everybody for jumping in and showing some love. I mean, it's awesome to see everybody back in chat this week. We have Blair Hollingsworth on YouTube. We got my friend Troy. AC's in Facebook already. Walt on YouTube. My friend Alan. Dale's in chat. We got Taylor Renee. Cora.
Part 2 of 52. I like that.
Holly Larson. Jason Musinik. I didn't know Batista could do the back eyebrow. He's calling you out with that one.
I didn't know Batista could do that. Batista can do the people's eyebrow. Just got to kick.
Part 2 of 52. Walt's going to put a whole year with a Goonies stuff. Oh boy. I mean, we'll see. Maybe, who knows? Before saying hi, Dustin.
One of our biggest supporters right here, I'll show you.
I'm baking it.
Oh, there we go. Now I got it. I don't know why it didn't come up right away, but now
Cool.
Moly, look at that.
Definitely.
Thank you, everybody.
Part 3 coming next week. Alan's already saying it. Part 3 next week. You lost your audio. It's the cough.
Gotta give that.
Last week was awesome. Tonight's going to be even.
Taylor, I'm doing amazing. John.
This is going to be weekly, right? Oh boy. Everybody wants this more and more.
Oh, wow. Hey, you know?
Yeah. Hey, you guys from AC, how you both doing? Dave Goofy from way back. You have a real expert coming on board. Thank you, Blair. AC's mom's in chat. Michelle Burrow. And AC's like in the SWAT down. And Walt saying, Dustin, your audio is in and out. That's the part about doing some of these shows. Sometimes live, you do have a little bit of audio issue.
Yeah, I think it might be that we're overloading the system.
Maybe. But it shouldn't, because we're the only ones on stage.
Let's see if we can
close that out. Maybe that'll help. But we should be joined momentarily by Mark Marshall, who is one of the executive reverse audio pecker. I mean, we do have a whole slew of guests waiting to come on camera with us tonight, so we get this booking and going soon.
Yeah, I think we are having a little bit of audio issues there, Mr. Knast.
I wonder why.
See if we can get this correct a little bit. I think we have so many people that are on here. The system doesn't know what to do with us.
That's true. The stars are out tonight. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, we're waiting on Mr. Mark Marshall to pop in studio and the video too. Looks good on my end. I'm watching it on my phone on Facebook. I got clear video. I don't know.
Let me see. Let me see what we can work. Let's really quick. People in.
Unless we boot people from
Let's see
studio.
what we got going on for the sound, you guys.
It's just Dustin that I notice. I'm saying it's coming from your end. And there's the man himself. Let's get let Dustin get this figured out real quick. Mark just popped in the studio, so whenever you want me to bring him on, sir, let me know. Try changing from 1080p. See if that works. I don't know if that's any better. Maybe not. Now they're saying Dustin is frozen. I mean, that's the part that kind of stinks. Like you said, you spend all this time getting stuff ready, and then it goes haywire. So maybe less bandwidth. Unplug and plug it back in. I don't want to. Is it just my end, or is Dustin having the issues? I mean, on my screen now, Dustin's definitely frozen. I can tell that. So you might have to pop out, pop back in. So let's see. Hold on. Let me. Like I said, let's see if Dustin can load back in, because like I said, we were doing this before and everything was working fine. So let's see. See if we can get him to pop back in. Yeah, he's having audio and video issues. Like I said, everything seemed to be working fine. So everyone in the house, Wi-Fi. Let's see. I don't see his face yet. I don't want to bring him on so I see his camera back on. So, all right, let's try this now. How's that? Any better? You're still. Unless StreamYard is having a shit. I hope not. I mean, it was just working fine beforehand. I don't get it. Who's your favorite? Who is your favorite Goonie and why? That's a tough one. I see him now too. I don't know if his mic's working or not, but I don't get this. We were just fine beforehand. Everything was working great beforehand, and now all of a sudden everyone wants to take a crap on me. I don't get it. We're gonna get this. I promise you. But the answer to AC's question, who is my favorite Goonie? Probably Mikey or Mouse, because of just like Mikey's sense of adventure, but Mouse wittiness. I mean, he's sarcastic in his own way. So, hello, Dana. Martha Pittman is the best Goonie. There you go. There's a vote for Miss Steph. I hear something. I don't get this, sir. We had this fine not even 10 minutes ago. Yeah, it's not my system because I got full internet. I don't get this. Did a storm move in or something? I mean, so let's drop him out. God. Maybe, maybe we had the video working fine. Not even like 10 minutes ago before the show started. I don't know why it all of a sudden just took a crap. I don't get it. You can try coming on without video, but it won't be the same. I mean, like I said, I got a full internet connection. I don't think StreamYard's having any issues. I don't get it. Dustin probably just reboot. That is a possibility. You're right. I mean, because we were in studio about an hour ago before the show, and everything seemed to be fine. Even before the show, it seemed fine. So I don't get it. I'm waiting to see what he has to say. We're gonna get it, though. Please don't leave us. There he is.
I'm just, you know what? I just figured I'd go straight to the phone. Not trying to do the whole phone to, computer thing. Trying to help it out a little bit. So it seems to be doing pretty good right now. Correct? We good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. Now we're good. We're back. We're ready to go.
Well, Mark's in the studio, so I'm going to bring our first guest on. So if you're ready to rock and roll, you ready?
I'm ready to rock and roll, bud. Let's do this.
All right. Here's our first guest of the night, Mr. Mark Marshall. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
How you doing, my friend? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. This is live broadcasting.
Yes, sir.
But you never say die, so
you just got to keep it going, right? You got to find a way.
Definitely.
Love it. Man, I appreciate you taking your time to come onto the show and be able to talk with a lot of people. I know there was a lot of people that got a chance to, walk up to the Goonies house and see you there and be a part of the VIP from kind of the outside. But I think the one thing that most people really want to get from you is, those stories, the things that people don't know, the ideas and the experiences that you had on the Goonies and what they value,
Well, and certainly some are, clearer than others. The ones that are fresh in my mind made it into the book, and maybe the ones that become clear over time will make it into a sequel or something. But no, there are a plethora of memories, and I'm grateful for every one that I have.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now I know that earlier I was talking to you a little bit, and I didn't get a chance to see it, but could you explain a little bit about the commemorative bench?
Yeah, one of the brilliant touches that Bayman Zachary and J.P. Connolly and those guys did was bringing Donner into the whole memorial thing. Dick was the heart and soul of the Goonies, and he's missed every day. So for them to dedicate the bench that's on the porch, that was actually in the movie and is back on the porch, was a really beautiful touch. And we had just a very private ceremony while we were up on the porch and dedicated it and had a moment of silence, and that meant a lot to me, as I know it means a lot to Goonies fans all over the world, because Dick, without Steven and Dick, Goonies wouldn't have made the impression that it did.
Now, who had more say in it? Was it Dick or was it Steven, or were they kind of both together?
Well, Steven came up with the story, which Chris Columbus wrote out into script form, but Donner, contributed so much as the director. His sensibilities, his watchword was verisimilitude or truth, and he wanted each of those kids to believe that they were on a search for buried treasure and that their families were going to lose their homes, and he wanted them to be kids, so they talked over each other and they fought, just like real kids and real friends. And so I credit so much of the success of the movie to Dick's leadership, and the rapport he had with his kids.
I definitely seen the making of it, and they definitely seem like he had that father type mentality with all the kids on the set. No, it was amazing.
Oh, absolutely. He was a confirmed bachelor at the time, and although kids weren't going to be in his future, he worked with enough of them. But I think maybe it was, all 7 of them together that kind of made him reconsider ever having kids in real life. But they all loved and adored him, and so he kept in touch with them over the years, and so it was like raising those kids anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's awesome. Now, I did get an opportunity on Friday to be able to take a tour of the house and be able to see a lot of things that were in there. And there was a picture on the wall that was in the back that had a kind of a production top of the ship, and being able to see it from ground level where you kind of see how massive that is. Was that the idea in the beginning before even building the ship to keep it from the kids, or was it more so after it had been built to get a better realistic kind of reaction from them?
Well, first of all, Jack Johnson did a lot of the production illustrations. Mike Riva designed the set, and it was really thanks to Mike Riva that we had a full-size pirate ship. Michael insisted on it and found a way to make it practical, not just for the deck, but below decks as well. Mm-hmm. And I think it was during the construction when Dick saw how it was taking shape and all, he felt that the kids would be blown away by what they saw. And so it was his decision to not allow the kids anywhere near the stage while they were building it. Although I think probably a couple of them would admit to you that they did sneak a peek, but hey, they're actors, so they could do that. Right? And, yeah, and absolutely, they were curious. Dick really, he wanted to capture the wonder on their faces, mm-hmm. and I think he certainly accomplished that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just to see some of the pictures, that you see, especially some of the ones they have down in the museum and things, where you see them and that they're standing there, and you don't get an idea what they're looking at, but you see the reaction in their face and how realistic that is. You can't fake that, and you can't act that.
No, you can try. And I think Corey admitted that he may have snuck a peek, but to get in there, like you said, at ground level in the water and come up and see it and then react as a group, I think kind of made it a natural thing. So, Corey's a great actor, but he had to be really wowed by the final product.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Hearing these stories and things like that from you, and being able to get a chance to talk to, like on the beach, Mr. Perkins down there, just walking around, hanging out with everybody, and then Paul Turney, before I went into the house to tour it, he had showed up, and it was an honor for him and me to be able to say, "Holy Mary, Mother of God," together, before we took a picture. But it was just amazing to be able to see the impact that it's had on their lives and just the town, period. And it is a whole different world when you go down to Astoria. How amazing, you feel like you're at home, when you go down there. For a lot of people, I think.
Absolutely, and the house restoration was the only word I could use to describe it was magic, because magic in the way they approached it, gathering all the elements so that it was exactly as it was in October of '84, and then the effect it had on everyone who did see it. It is pure magic, and when I went in, I was transported instantly back, 41 years ago this fall, and I could hear Dick giving direction. I knew where he placed the camera, I could almost hear the banter between takes, and that was a memory I will take to my grave.
That is amazing. That is, and I could only imagine for you how surreal that is. For us, we see it from a movie perspective, and when you walk around, you kind of see it from different angles, like, this is so weird. You feel like it's larger than life when you're in the movie, but then when you get there, you're like, this is a home from the 80s. It's something simple, but for you, I mean, you were there and a part of this and getting to see those different aspects of it.
Well, and during the production, I was actually supposed to go up on vacation. I had requested a week's vacation, and Stephen gave his blessing, but he said, get Donner's permission to come up. And so I called the production office and spoke with Dick's executive assistant, Jenny Lou, and she said she would get back to me. Well, later that afternoon, Michael Thaw, who was Dick's personal assistant, called me and said kind of sternly, are you still coming up? And I thought maybe there was a problem. So I said, well, if it's okay. And he said, well, yeah, Dick said, if you're crazy enough to come up here, he's paying for your flight. So Dick paid for my plane ticket up. I went up with John Matuzak and Randy Widener, who was John's stunt double. And the second day of vacation, they put me to work. So I ended up working on second unit and stayed the entire 3 weeks they were up there, and then came back on the charter flight with them. And the next Monday we went to work. Stephen was directing second unit, and I was with Stephen. So I got to go through almost the entire production. And but at the time, I was just trying to keep my head above water and keep up with everything that was going on, because production was still relatively new to me. Although I'd observed on sets before, and I'll tell you, it really takes your mind off of the enjoyment of the moment when you're just trying to keep your wits about you. But yet, 41 years later, to see that set or see the house, it really, the emotion caught up with me in an after interview. Which I'm a little embarrassed about, but it is what it is.
That is exactly what it should be. I mean, there's no reason why. That does a lot for some of us that weren't even a part of it, like you were a part of it. And
I wasn't even born yet, to be honest. I'm young. I'm gonna after the movie, but
dang, Johnny, really throwing me under the bus there, right? I saw it in the movie theater. That's funny.
I'll tell you, if Corey, Carrie, and Robert and Paul weren't teary-eyed at the reveal, then I'll be really ticked off, because I know it had to mean a lot to them too. Corey and Carrie were just kids, so.
Yeah, and Robert had a couple of things to say too when he was. I got an opportunity to see him downtown and stuff, and some of the people that were doing videos with him and stuff. But I think that the Jeep build was one of them that he saw. That being a part of the house and being able to go in there and stuff like that, you could just sense that it brought him back to a lot of that.
Well, it's amazing because here's a guy who did Die Hard. License to Kill. He worked with James Bond, and yet now it's at his age. It's the Goonies that has caught his heart, and he was so touched that people responded the way they did. That I think he finally realized what Goonies means to people all over the world. Although I'm sure they tell him all the time, but right. he really got it in concentrated form.
I didn't. I've been going down to Astoria. Like every year since '89. My mom and my dad would take us down there on vacation, Seaside and Cannon Beach. And going down there was never an anniversary thing. It was always, let's go to the Goonies house and then let's be on our way. And this year I didn't realize until I started doing. I did the 80s retro market down there and stuff, and was selling some things that were made before the 40th got there to celebrate the 40th. And there were things that I was sending to Australia and Japan and Germany and, Spain, France. There was people that were down there from, Sicily and stuff. And you look at that and you think, this is just a small town, something from Washington. I'm from Washington State. So like it's 2.5 hour drive for me. And I didn't realize how many people it really impacted. You just think 40 years later, how can a movie really withstand 40 years and be that popular until you're down there and you're a part of it and you start going online and seeing these people that are talking about it, and they're still to this day, huge Goonies, and makes you feel a part of the coolest family in the world.
Absolutely. And the themes that are represented in the movie, friendship and love and sacrifice and loyalty, all those things resonate even more deeply now, especially with the kids who grew up and started showing it to their kids as adults. It was a bonding thing, and I think that's one of the reasons it is so beloved. Is that there are so many things that people can connect with each other on, and it doesn't matter the language or anything else. Film, at least this film has a common language, and it's those themes that continue to resonate.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the first time in the story myself, I was just completely blown away. I mean, I'm all the way on the East Coast. I came from New Jersey after the story and just was blown away by everything. First time after, can't wait to go back.
So you were from another foreign country, New Jersey.
Yes, so they say. I mean, but
now, yeah, it does. I mean, the people, listen, the Goonies fans are the greatest people in the world. And I think that they're the purest people in the world. When you love a movie like this and you have so many people that connect over it, you don't have time to be petty or to hate or to be vindictive or anything else. I think it's a purity that you don't find in a lot of things. And certainly, I don't know if Friday the 13th fans feel the same way, but certainly Goonies fans do, and they get it.
Yeah, Goonies fans are they stand apart from a lot of different kinds of fans, and it was that group of kids that you had your own Goonie fan or your own Goonies clubs. When you were a kid, you had your little group of friends. You were the Goonies. You mimic that, and at least for me, growing up in the '80s, and when I went to that movie, it was just like, as a very young kid, it was like that's what I wanted to be when I grew up, was a Goonie. And
yeah.
It was just amazing to be a part of that world, especially this year. And I never knew that they did anniversaries down there. I imagined that they would do some things, but being down there this year, it was just exhilarating. It was surprising how many people flew from around the world to be a part of this, and I think Bayman, I tried to get him on. I talked to him a little bit yesterday about it, just to see. I know he was super busy taking care of other things, but I had a chance to talk to him while we were there, and it was right after he had talked to Josh Brolin on a FaceTime. And, he was just under the understanding when he was talking to him, he was like, hey, I totally understand you're busy. And he made the comment, you're Thanos. And Josh Brolin goes, no, stop right there. He goes, I'm not Thanos. He goes, I'm a Goonie. And that's when Bayman and his wife even said that, he started to tear up a little bit because it was such a huge thing for Josh to see what he had done. And I think that resonated with him a little bit. And I'll take that story with me from the 40th because I just thought that was amazing. It was Corey Feldman standing behind me, didn't know. And then all of a sudden you're walking up towards me, and then Bayman's right there in the house coming up. And I was like, my mind was blown. I was like, where am I right now? Like, what is going on? So it was really cool.
Yeah. It was Josh's first film, and he was coming off a juvie record, which he'll readily admit. He'd been in juvenile hall. He'd had 7 arrests. And I really think this movie gave him a direction and a passion. And look how he turned out. I mean, he's Josh Brolin, for goodness sakes. But, and I think I said at some point during the weekend that, being a Goonie means you're never alone. And I think that's a very powerful thing.
I felt that being out there by myself. I didn't feel alone one bit. I mean, traveled 2,900 miles and I felt right in place. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like being in the theater with 300 strangers, but you're all feeling the same emotion, whether it's laughter or tears or whatever. And that's what the gathering is like.
Yeah, I definitely felt that watching it in the Colombian theater on that Friday night. There's like 150 people clapping, screaming, reenacting scenes. It was great.
That's the thing. We should do just a dialogue along or whatever, where people can, because they can recite the entire movie.
Right, yeah. I think I probably annoy enough people that watch it with me doing that same thing. very few movies that I know all the lines to, and that's definitely one of them.
Well, you can thank Chris Columbus for that.
Yeah, right. Jeez, that's amazing.
So,
go ahead, John.
Can I pull them up and have them ask? Like, I can pull up the comments and show you. I'll read them to you. Like, Troy, who had the Jeep, wants to know, Mark Marshall, what are the odds of Steven signing the ORV?
Well, if you can get through to his office and get it to LA, I think the odds might be better than average. It's just getting through to his office is it's like getting into Mordor. It's fraught with roadblocks and perils and things, but it can be done. So I would encourage him not to give up and to contact Amblin and just make the request.
Yeah, Michelle wants to know, how did you come across the house? Were there any other houses you looked at before you picked the house?
I wasn't involved in that part, but Tony Amatullo, who was our location manager on the film, had kind of scouted Astoria as they were making their way up the coast, and I think the normal thing is to contact either a real estate office or sheriff's office or whoever, and just see if you can get an idea of an area where it might be good. And I know Dick wanted to be able to see the Columbia River, and the house, I believe, had been abandoned at that point. So it was just a natural. But Tony would know all the details about that, and he's still with us.
So then we got Mr. Watt. Were the close-ups of the kids' hands in the attic really adults? Were the kids not available for pickups? I don't know what he means by that. I guess when
were the close-ups of the kids' hands? Oh, close-ups of the kids' hands in the attic really adults, or were the kids not available for the pickups?
Well, yeah, in some cases. I mean, you usually do all your major production things, whether it's main unit, second unit, whatever, and then at the end, you have the director will have a list of working with the editor will have a list of shots that inserts and things that they need, and the kids could be in school, or they could, if we've wrapped production, they could be at home, and you don't want to pay to call them back in. So we had stunt doubles on the film, and they had the same wardrobe. So in many cases, their hands were used, but I don't think there were that many, because I was there for a couple of days after main unit wrapped, and mainly the stuff that we did was inserts from the beach. We poured sand in the outside of stage 16 of Warner Brothers, and did some inserts like the jewels and things. And then the very last thing that we shot actually was Mr. Walsh tearing up the contract and throwing the pieces up in the air. So there were definitely inserts, but very very judiciously done. And so I honestly couldn't tell you which were the kids' hands and the adult hands.
Troy had another question. Was Carrie present during filming of the house in '84?
Yes, yeah, because we actually shot the original ending takes place at the house on where the kids are helping to load the the moving van for the Walshes, and there's a scene where they all stand out on the porch while Mikey's taking down the Walsh sign and talking about where they're going to end up. And so Carrie and Martha, um, they were all there, but it was just that one scene I think that they were in.
Okay, I heard the alternate endings are completely different than the original. So
Yes, and the reason that they reshot the ending was that Sloth's makeup didn't look good on camera, and so they decided to scrap it and shoot in Bodega Bay a couple months later. And it's a good thing they did, because I don't know how. I don't think the pirate ship would have worked in to the original ending, so it all worked out well.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if we have any more. Miss Dana, do we know what Mouse Wish was? Ooh.
No.
That, but
It's never specified. And do we really want to know? I mean,
No.
you know,
Probably Martin Sheen to be president.
absolutely.
I don't know if you know this one. How was it working with Cyndi Lauper? I don't know if you guys worked side by side with her at all since she did the Goonies Are Good Enough song.
Yeah, I was there a bit when they were shooting the music video. Dick actually directed that, which he didn't remember afterwards because he was so exhausted. And they shot it while they were shooting the picture. So, but it was a little bit crazy. She's definitely interesting.
Especially back then in the 80s.
Yeah,
Yes.
She was the epitome of the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I mean, and
What else we got, John?
last one, Junior says, what was everyone's favorite daily food?
Wow. That's a good. Well, you probably get 7 or 8 different. Sean loved soft drinks and candy bars, but he would go into he'd light up like a rocket if he had any sugar. So we tried to keep that away from him. I don't think I can answer specifically because there's craft service had so many different things to appeal to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You got any more in there, John?
What starts on the Ruby Goldberg recreation?
Oh, the Rube Goldberg machine. Hold on, we'll get it. There you go. Did you hear that, Mark?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Donald Dean wants to know what are your thoughts on the Rube Goldberg recreation?
It was brilliant. We had to film it in segments during production because, of course, you couldn't do one fluid movement; it wouldn't all work. But Damon Crowe and Brad Tyndall and those guys, man, they made it work in one fluid take, and that's amazing to me. But
so awesome.
They're not only fans, but they're geniuses too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my earbuds, so I'm having to.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all the questions I got. I mean, that's awesome that you took time to answer them. So.
Oh, nice, awesome. Well, what do you got, Mark? Give me one thing for you. Just any topic on the Goonies.
Oh gosh, well, I guess I could mention my book.
Yes, please.
Which
please.
Came out in December of last year. It's called Goonies, Droids, and Killer Whales, and there are 2 chapters on Goonies behind the scenes, but then there are also some of the other films I worked on, like Empire Strikes Back and Raiders, The Lost Ark, Free Willy, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So there's a lot to, if you like behind the scenes information, you got it. And it's I didn't spare my vanity because there are embarrassing moments in there as well. But as I said, it's a love letter to the industry and to the people that I worked for and with. George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Dick Donner, Chris Columbus, and at Warner Brothers for so many years. And it's on Amazon, by the way. So
that's where I got it.
It was on
Amazon.
If you love Goonies, then there's, I think, enough in there, and pictures as well to kind of bring back some, memories.
Well, and it was funny too because when I was trying to do my little advertisement, little promotion for the show, and kind of letting people know that you're going to be on the show, and because it was like a little last minute, when you and I were talking and stuff, and I was just like, okay, let me do a little recap, let me put some of the things that he was in, and then all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, now I got like 3 paragraphs of how many movies that you worked on. I was like, I got to trim this up a little bit here because I was on a roll, but I was so fascinated because it was 50% of it I knew, the other 50% I didn't know, and it was incredible just to see some of those productions that you were a part of. So I can only imagine, for you.
Yeah, I was blessed to be a part of those, and again, a lifetime of memories from those films, and I'm glad that some of them still resonate. And the impact that Free Willy has had, which, by the way, we shot partially in Astoria, so going to Astoria was like going home. But yeah, I sit there and wonder sometimes how I lucked into some of these productions, and I think it was just the contacts that I made.
Just over the work that you did and being able to build those relationships with certain people.
That's the key. I mean, the key to any film industry project is relationships, and that's how it thrives.
It was awesome, man. I gotta thank you so much, though. I just want to let you know that first before I forget, man. I just want to thank you for coming on and being able to talk with us and stuff. Because
it was my pleasure. My pleasure.
Johnny and I were kind of like, oh gosh, like it just went from something little, and let's do a recap because we had such a good show a week ago, and we were like, let's do a part 2. Everybody kind of like ran out of time almost, but we were on for 2.5 hours, and then this came up, and it was like I was kind of like, why am I so nervous all of a sudden?
Same thing.
Well, you've got a great lineup of guests coming up, so I'm going to stick around and watch.
Awesome, man.
Did Michael Jackson know he was getting mentioned in the movie, or was that line added after he visited the set?
Oh,
that's a good. I'm sorry, the volume's still not working well.
Jason said, did Michael Jackson know that he was getting a mention in the movie, or was that just a line that was added after he visited the set?
Well, it was scripted, so I'm sure that Chris, kind of knew what was going on in the 80s and used it as a reference point, but whether Michael was going to come to the set or not, I don't think anybody had a clue. But ask Corey about that. He'll give you 3 days worth on that. That was meant a lot to him.
No. Last question. Who was the most hyper Goonie?
Who was the most what?
Most hyper Goonie. Which Goonie had the most energy?
My gosh, you get 4 of the kids together and they go nuclear, but I think Sean had the most energy. He was always on his bike or running around. Pee Wee Herman was shooting his movie across the stage from us, and so he was always over there. And he was pretty hyper, but he was super focused when he needed to be, a true professional. But above all, he was just a kid.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Such a great cast for everybody. Man, thank you, Mark, so much. And I want to, so many great 40ths that just passed and are coming up and things like that. And I know you've been a part of a good handful of those ones that 40th anniversaries that are all around this time. So,
well, thank you. It meant a lot to me to be included, and I'm looking forward to 45.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, man. I'm going to keep in touch with you if that's okay, man.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you, Mark.
Have a good evening.
You too.
All That was awesome. You know,
That
not every
is amazing.
And
I think I've been grinning ear to ear the whole time. I gotta my cheeks are getting listening to those stories. And it's funny because when he brings up some of those stories, you start to think about some of the things that that you find out along the way. And one of the things that I found out while I was down in Astoria for the 40th was that Jeff Cohen actually had as a kid, right, as a chunk on the Goonies, had like 350 to 400 hat collection and would wear them while he was there. He would wear like a different hat every day, but he had all these hats. That was just a thing that he collected. So kind of a fascinating little fact. I thought that was kind of a cool thing to find out, you know, from the random people that you meet at the 40th, you know, people you don't know, but you look over and you're like, hey, Goonie, what's up? How's it going? Best friend, you know?
I mean, everyone's saying thank you, Mark and chat. That was amazing, awesome. That was awesome, guys. Thanks for that awesome interview. Thank you. I mean, sorry for not answering everybody's comment. I mean,
yeah, it was a hard one while we're doing talking with Mark a little bit there, trying to get it. But I think bringing on some of our next guests, I think we'll be able to do more questions and from the comments and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to bring it up on my computer separately so I don't get disconnected from this. I apologize for that earlier for wasting anybody's time with my inability to be able to run my computer. So,
what is the name of the book? It's called Goonies, Droids, and Whales, I think, right?
Yeah, Goonies, Droids, and Whales, because he worked on Free Willy. Started in 1978, I believe, working for Lucas Film and stuff like that. And then, of course, with the Goonies and such. But so many other things, man. Raiders of the Lost Ark, man. Such a classic. Such a classic.
So who do you want to bring on next? We got Daryl waiting. We got Jason. We got Jay Ryan. Who do you want to bring on next? I'll let you decide.
You know, let's bring. Is Dave in there too?
Not yet. Nope.
Not yet. Let's bring on Jason and Daryl.
All right. Welcome to the show, Mr. Daryl and Mr. Jason.
Hey guys.
What's up, fellas?
There's my boys. I had to slouch down a little bit, crouch with my knees, and get on a downhill slope when we took our picture together. That was I looked like a giant standing next to you guys for a second. I was like, I'm gonna literally look like Sloth from the Goonies.
No, for sure. No, you guys made me look like a midget.
You know, feel bad. 8 years older than 5'5", so
yeah. Right.
Is that how tall you are, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm only like 5'5".
Oh,
so.
gotcha. Yeah, same.
I'm 6'1", but I still got mistaken for Daryl multiple times. I think we were both dressed up as Mouth one day, and he was posting on Facebook. You know, he was giving out those gift bags, and I think I was having lunch at LC Bowl, and some girl walked up and she was like, "It's you," and I was like, yeah, it's me. And she's like, "No, sure. You're the guy." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm the guy."
You're like, which guy are we talking about here?
So
you got mistaken for Bayman too.
Yeah, I got mistaken for Bayman a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's like a lot of people.
I mean, Daryl and Bayman are both good-looking guys. I mean, I can see how it can happen, right?
Right. You're the hybrid. You're the hybrid of both them.
Yeah, and the love child.
The Daryl Bayman baby, and you're the hybrid. That's what happened. Awesome, man. I wanted to get a chance to talk with you guys a little bit because at one time I felt that I had a GPS tracker on me because I ran into you guys more than I ran into anybody. Even the people I even went with, I felt like I ran into you guys more. And we were always in different places, whether it be looking for coins, down at the, by gizmos or something like that, doing the scavenger hunt up at the house, like didn't matter where. It just seemed like we were always running into each other. So how was your guys' trip in retrospect? And like, I know that you guys met each other down there for the first time as well. Like I met you, Daryl, and that was the first time that you guys had met, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people thought you guys knew each other, I think, for like a long time, especially when they come and talk to you guys. It seemed like I thought so. I thought you guys both knew each other for years.
It felt that way, yeah.
Yeah, no, Daryl and I, we met through the 40th anniversary Facebook group. I think after I put out my Sloth video, he
Yeah.
You know,
that was iconic, bro. That was iconic.
Amazing. Like it couldn't have been any better. Like it's so good.
I literally had one of the producers, Tom. He reached out to me and because I was going to do mine, and I had talked to Bayman and about doing the soft video and stuff, right? And so all of a sudden I was like, yeah, right. I saw that and I was like, why am I going to waste my time, right? And then one of the producers reached out and stuff. He's like, are you still going to send that over? And I was like, man, probably not going to be able to. And then I ended up doing a bunch of it. And then my daughter and I were using a program, and she erased the app, which deleted everything we had worked on. And so then I was just like, I don't want to do it. And then I watched yours again, and I was like, yeah, I definitely don't want to do it. I still put one together really quick, but it was even my daughter was like, you have to beat that? She was like, how are you going to do that? I'm like, thanks for being 15, daughter.
I mean, a TikTok filter and a fishing line on my ear, and that was about it.
I know, that was so perfect, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We just I friended him after that because I'm if somebody's given to the cause, whatever, doing something for the Goonies, with the Goonies, about the Goonies, I want to be your friend. I want to know what you're doing. Like I want to see what you got going on. And then we started hanging out there. We ran into Michael Christopher as well, and the three of us just started running around together. My schedule was all of our schedules were super busy, so we still ran around a lot, but we had to part ways at certain points because of different events and appointments and whatever. But yeah, it was we're still talking pretty much like on a daily basis. It was a beautiful friendship, and you know what? Like Jason had said, the house brought us together. Like I think the house brought a lot of people together. Like it was just everything there was magical. Everything flew by, everything worked out for almost everybody that I talked to. Everybody was like, timing was great. Like. And I myself ran into so many people that I really didn't think I was going to. But it was just random stuff. I'd pop out of the hotel room and Dana was there. She's like, Daryl. I'm like, what? And, everywhere I went, I'd run into somebody, and it was like, yes, I saw almost everybody I wanted to run into. And I did even run into a few people like at the bonfire and didn't recognize them. And so, yeah, I think I ran into everybody.
Mm-hmm. Then I recognized you right off the bat because when we were talking online for a bit, and in my head I was like, I should have probably coordinated better with Daryl to make sure I don't miss him while I'm down there. And then it turned out that they literally felt like we were Siamese twins at one point.
Yeah. And then it was so funny because, like I told you before, like I imagined we were going to be hanging out, like playing cards at night, like watching the movie, but there was just no time. Like it was constant, man. Like it was constant 18-hour-a-day runs. Like, it was my sleep schedule was about midnight to 6. It was like 1:30 to 4:30 or something, trying to get up and catch sunrise or something like that. But it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every time I would go back to the house, it'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Let's relax. You sit down for 10 minutes. Yeah. And then you go take a shower, you change your clothes, and then you're like, I got to do this now. And now I've got to go over here and do this other thing. And it was crazy. I mean, but I wouldn't have changed it. Right. I mean, it was so much fun. And we're going to do another one next year. We're going to do everybody that's on here, just to let you guys know, we're doing another anniversary next year. And anybody who wants to join, just come on down because we're gonna make it happen. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, because we were joking with Dave in chat last week about setting up a podcast in the parking lot. I'll have a kid in the parking lot. So.
Yep, doing a little museum parking lot jail podcast for the 41st.
Yeah, heck, we could even probably set up a show on the beach from Cannon Beach and have Haystack Rock in the background. Who knows?
Hell yeah. We got some serious comments going on here. Do we have any questions in here? Because I think we had somebody. I know a lot of people came in saying hi to you guys. Let's see.
I'm trying to keep up.
Hey, it's Crew from Junior.
Hey, Chef Junior.
Kristen Hartdell.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Troy. Hey guys. John Coy. Hey you guys. Goonies on my I like these comments. So it was great to have met so many people in the group that I've never met before, and here we are. And then
Seriously.
Somebody posed a question about the sequel. What do you guys think about a sequel?
Man, you'd have to get every single person back that you could, right? You'd have to recreate a parents to kids scenario, because I think that would be passing. It's kind of like you think about like the Ghostbusters, right? They tried to redo it, with the girls and stuff, didn't really fit, but you redo it again. You include the original cast. It's almost like they're kind of passing the torch over a little bit. Like you'd have to do it like that. If you just made a Goonies or tried to do something nowadays, all the Goonies would just be sitting there on their phones, texting chip pictures to each other. I mean, I don't think it would feel the same as it was in the 80s. I don't think you could do that unless they wanted to. You
can't recapture that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, the 80s were so different. You couldn't. You don't have the same things as you do. Nowadays, some kid calls an Uber and takes me. Hey, can I get the One-Eyed Willie ship? Yep, sounds good. $42. Uber XL. Bye.
They're just gonna go on a geocache adventure or something,
right? Exactly. It's just a scavenger hunt escape room, right? That's it.
Did all 4 of you attend the 30th? I did not. I don't know about these three, but I didn't.
I didn't.
Honestly,
one of the people I went with, he went. I think he did the 25th and I think the 30th. But then I don't think there was a 35th, right? Because of COVID.
Nah, it was canceled. Honestly, last year was my first trip to Astoria. And this kind of like Kevin Kakura, like this was a long time in the making. I'd been trying to get out there for 20 plus years easily. At one point, I was ready to make the trip. And then, I heard about everybody was saying, well, you can't go up to the house anymore. So I put it off again and just kind of put it on the back burner. And then, last year I happened to have some time available and I was like, this is top priority right now. I got to do it. And then when I went there, I absolutely fell in love with the place. And I've told Dave this, much like Dave, like I have a 10-year plan on moving there. And like, I've got some little ones, but as soon as they become adults, like I want to move out there. And it's just, I don't know what it is, man. The city is just magical. There's something about it.
Yeah, it really
just make sure you have an above the garage apartment for me, with you and your wife, because my kids are 15 and 17. So I'm on like the 4-year plan. They don't want to come with, then see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the locals there, and I was like, I said I've fallen in love with Astoria, and like I would love to move out here. I just got to convince the wife, and then find space for our 3 horses. And they're all like, "Oh yeah, just 10 minutes up the road. There's land."
Seriously, there's a lot of places for for you to look at up there too, and pretty inexpensive in comparison to a lot of places surrounding.
Yeah.
Actually, I have the inside scoop to a house going up for sale right down the street from Bayman's house.
Oh boy!
I was talking to a guy the other night, and he is the husband of the lady that ran Mama's Craft Kitchen. They had the 40th anniversary shirts that were glow in the dark, like early on.
Yeah.
And he was like, he has to move. They moved there 4 years ago because they're both fans and love the area and stuff. But he has like COPD and he's got to move out of the area, so he's planning on putting his house up in the next year. And I was like, let me know.
Right? You're like,
that's not gonna happen, but
Hey, we get like 4 or 5 less. I mean,
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
got the vacation place is all I'm saying right there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I'm only 2.5 hours away, so like I could just I'll keep it clean.
Yeah,
I'll do all the maintenance. Yeah, easy.
I'm gonna
we'll get Richard to go down there and do it too.
Yeah. We'll have Richard maintenance it.
He'll be the curator of the the Goonies VRBO house.
Yeah, exactly. So
we had
Did either of you guys go to Richard's house? Have you been in Richard's house at all?
No,
I didn't get to go in the house, but
I went to Richard's house, but not to the Short Circuit house. I went to actually his house that he's remodeling, and I don't know if it's okay to share, but like he had an amazing collection of vintage 80s toys like Castle Grayskull, the Thundercats lair. My jaw dropped when I walked in. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
He showed me a couple pictures because he went with us when I did the walkthrough. It was with Dave and Richard as well, and he was showing me some pictures, and I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "I thought you have some stuff too." So I showed him some of my pictures, and he was like, "Okay." He's like, "Next time you come back down here, you got to come over and stay the night." And I was like, "Sounds good, man. We'll just play with their toys."
You've got some crazy collections. Crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. We had let's see. I was just kind of scrolling up to keep it where we're at. Walt, who I went down to the 40th with. For those of us that didn't go into the house, are they planning on opening it to the public soon? And if I'm correct, as far as I know, is after the 6-part docuseries, is they want to keep that so it's kind of hidden from the public, no pictures. And then after that goes, then they're going to try to figure out what they're doing with it. Does that sound correct? That's only me overhearing production people talking when we were up there at the house. But
yeah,
you know more than I do.
I think so. I'm not really sure what they're going to do because, with all the stuff glued down, and it's not livable. So I don't think Airbnb is going to ever happen.
No. And I think Richard was talking about, he was talking about curating it with the Short Circuit House and trying to do a collab where they can do walkthroughs. But like you said, with stuff glued down and stuff, you can't really just be like, yeah, go take a look like a museum. It has to be structured. You have to walk people through it. That involves employees.
Yeah, I think the idea of fusing a night in Richard's house with like a tour of the Goonies house is a really good idea.
Oh yeah,
that's an awesome idea. It's perfect.
Speaking of Richard, he's in chat.
Yeah,
good.
Hi, Richard.
Can we bring him in so we can ask?
If you want, we got Dave waiting off camera. We still got Jay Ryan still too. Also.
Wait, is Dave in?
Yeah, Dave's ready to go.
Oh, nice. Let's bring Dave in.
All right, there he is, Mr. Dave.
Dave, buddy, you're wearing my shirt that I got to remind you.
Yeah, no audio though. That's the problem. I don't hear him.
Oh, he has no audio. Hold on, Dave.
No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was good.
I had to.
That was good. That was that classic Ace Ventura. I like that.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. So nice to see you.
What's up, my friend?
I miss you guys. I
know. I didn't want to leave there, man. I didn't want to. When I went down there and stuff like that, man, and it was getting time to leave, I was like, man, why do I got to leave home? I got to leave home so early.
Yeah, and all my friends left town.
There's
a few left.
All by myself.
No, I gotta say, Dave gave me some of the most special moments while I was there in Astoria. I was hanging out like when they were recreating the jailbreak scene with Davi, and once the crowd died down a little bit, we were chit chatting, and Dave and I we did our own recreation of that scene. Yes. And but one of the most touching things, and Dave, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but Dave came up to me later and he gave me one of the police patches, and he kind of whispered in my ear. He said, "You're part of the gang now." So that was that was a special moment for me. So thank you, Dave. I had a wonderful time.
That was my patch, by the way. I realized after the fact that I don't have a patch.
All right, so I'm mailing it back. I'm mailing it.
No. It's your patch. It's your patch. Brother. I'll get mine online somewhere.
$14 at the visitor center. I think $14, right? I'll Venmo you.
Dave, you're such a sweetheart. So when we were at the house, I kept trying to push. Dave, did you get any pictures with anybody? I was trying.
That party was insane for me. It was insane for all of us.
Overwhelming.
I was conversing so much with the fans, with you guys and the rest, that I completely missed out on an opportunity to meet Carrie Green and Corey Feldman.
Man,
it just didn't happen. Carrie, bless her, she's tiny, and in the party, I always ended up losing her. I could never tell where she was. And I spent so much time trying to meet Corey and get some time with him that I think I ended up missing out on Carrie because of that. But you know what? I had the time of my life. Those things don't matter. Hanging out with you guys matters to me. It really does.
You're so sweet though, dude. I was trying to push Dave into Corey. I was like, dude, come on. Like when Corey walked in, I jumped right on him because I knew, you know, my thing is got to take that shot now because you don't know if you're going to get that chance again. So I did. I felt like I wish I could remember the conversations I had with them, but honestly, I have no idea. Like I didn't fangirl out. Everything was pretty natural, but my mind is just blank from whatever conversations I had with them. And I feel like Corey took to me pretty well. He's pretty nice, but you know, Corey was kind of elusive. I don't think, from what I've heard, and you guys, Jason, you met Corey at the signing, right?
I did. Yeah, and Carrie.
Who else got signing? Anybody? Just
no signs. No signs.
He was great at the signing. He was. I heard he was great at the signings, but I think honestly he has like social anxiety.
Oh,
yeah, there you go, right there. Yeah,
I remember his only jacket. So did the Carrie.
Oh, that's
the
best. Oh, that's so cool, man. I love it.
Yeah, he was probably the most elusive one. You know, he'd take a couple pictures, then he'd turn his back and talk to his girlfriend, and take the pictures, go hide up on the porch, and
that's what a lot of people said is that he would just talk to his girlfriend. Like a lot of the time, he would just sit there and talk to her, which I get your girlfriend, but I feel like you're kind of there for a reason, right?
I think it was just to calm him down. I think he has social anxiety. You know, one-on-one in a controlled environment, he's good, but out in the open, accessible. You know, a couple people did fangirl out on him. One chick, like we had a little circle, we were talking, and some chick just busted into the circle and like went on this whole, you know, fangirl rant and was like asked this like 2-minute long question. And then another chick, when he was up on the porch, like talking, doing his spiel, like another chick like interrupted and like just started singing and, you know, like cut him off. She had to shoot her shot. But I mean, I guess I get it. Like, you know, if you're out in the open and accessible, you don't know, you know, how hard people are going to fangirl out or whatever.
Yeah. Well, he was the same at the meet and greets after the cast and crew panel, which was much more controlled. You know, one at a time approaching him. He still was taking his time away and, you know, kept calling his girlfriend over. But
oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. You know, social anxiety can be crippling.
Yeah.
I mean, I suffer from it. I'm with people I don't know. I usually freeze it up, but meeting all you guys, I was completely fine. I don't feel this at all.
Yeah, you said that you reached out to me and said that when you first came out, and I ended up seeing you at the you were just kind of standing there at the beach. You know, kind of looked like the big group was kind of, you know, intimidating you a little bit. And I remember walking up and it was like, wait a minute. And you had the biggest smile on your face, like, hey, how's it going? I was like, hey, what's up, bud? So it was, and I get that too. For me personally, like, I mean, I'm normally a very shy and quiet person. Okay, trying to get a laugh there. No, I do. When I get into big groups, tight knit, it makes me feel claustrophobic. I get panic attacks. I feel like I'm a head taller than most people, so like when I'm looking around. It's sort of like everybody's kind of looking right at you, right? And so it makes you feel kind of weird. But then I can stand up in front of like 5,000 people and talk no problem. So it's a weird. I understand that social anxiety on different levels when it comes to that kind of stuff. And especially when I went down to the museum, I was in by the jail and I was like, people are taking pictures and people started coming in and I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like it just was like too many people, right? So I get how that feels sometimes.
Yeah, I'm glad I had people like Dave and everybody I knew, you know, Brad, Kevin, Chris, all those guys. Like, I'm glad I had a bunch of people there that I knew, because in a situation where I don't know anybody, I'm probably just going to stand in a corner and do nothing. You know, I probably wouldn't have been able to take advantage, but I felt at home with everybody there, you know, so it was a good setting for me. Yeah, I'm not really good in social situations. I just tend to stand in a corner and let everybody do their thing. You want to come up and talk and like start a conversation, I can bounce things off you, cool, but I'm not the one that's going to be starting a conversation, you know?
Yep, same way.
Yeah, I made the trip solo as well, but I mean, something about like Goonies fans, like everybody that I met, you know, it just felt like they were instant friend, you know, so I didn't feel intimidated at all with anybody that I met.
Exactly.
It was like an instant comfort, you know, and I think that's one reason why we all kind of gravitated towards each other when it came to certain things. I mean, I remember seeing Dave, and I was kind of talking to Dave a little bit, like I was kind of uncomfortable. I was waiting to do the little walkthrough, and I'm just like, I don't know anybody. People are talking to everybody else, and they have stories. And I'm like, remember that time? And hey, we know each other. And I'm like, just the big dude. And somebody came up to me and they were like, do you run like production security? And I was like, yeah, yes, I do. Like, let me just say yes, because I want to be somebody there, because I'm not talking to anybody, you know. But Dave, you were the first person that came up to me to really, you know, kind of talk to me. And we were the second group to go in 5 different times.
Yes.
We were supposed to go in the second, and they pushed us out. And then so Dave and I literally, we were like burnt head bros, because we would stand out for 10 or 15 minutes and then go into the canopy and then come back out and stand and get burnt more. Finally, we looked at each other like, we're going to go in eventually. Let's just go into the
I didn't mind. The anticipation was just awesome. The whole experience. I mean, I think all in all, it took us about an hour, I think, to get in.
Yeah, more than that. It was an hour and 45 minutes.
Well, it gave us time to bond. It gave us time to really hype up and get excited for it 5 times. But it was so worth it in the end. And,
it was.
I hope to talk about that in detail down the line.
Right, I know. Being able to just say that and not say more is kind of hard.
I know. I'll slip a few things here and there, but for the most part, we should respect the documentary that's being produced here. But I'm not going to stop you guys. You do you. We're all adults.
No, I was definitely nervous meeting Dave, and when I met Bayman for the first time, like I'm shaking, trying to shake his hand. I was like, I'm nervous as all hell. Like, guys,
I just met all of you for the first time 2 weeks ago, and I feel like we've known each other a lot longer than that. I think we've spoken on social media, a few of us. I don't think all of us have. Correct me if I'm wrong, if we've talked in the past, but man, did we bond quickly. And it's not just you guys, it's everybody. It's all the Goonies. It's everybody I came in contact with during that whole weekend, and it's overwhelming. It's wonderful, but it's wonderful though. And thank you guys for your friendship. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you.
I know. I was about to say, thank you, man. I mean, just knowing your story and, you know, going down there and the things that, you know, you and I talked about and stuff like that. But you can talk about things and have that camaraderie. You know, we have the Goonies and you're doing stuff. But man, Dave, when I met you, it was sort of like this weird, like kind of like I felt like I'd known you for a long time. Yeah. And we just picked up where we left off. But yet that was the first time, you know, going down there and meeting you for the first time and stuff. And it was amazing. I don't think if I wouldn't have had like these relationships, I don't think my 40th would have been what it was. I think that's what really made it what it was. It was the people I went with. It's the people I got a chance to meet. It was the people I never thought I would meet. Somebody coming from France that bought a coin from me, and I was like, his name was Raphael, and he was just like, he literally standing on the beach. Him and his wife are staring at me, and I'm like getting kind of creeped out because I had no idea why, but they're smiling at me. And so then when he said something, I was like, "Oh, Raphael, like you're French. You can probably the only person here from France, right?" So it was pretty amazing. What was your guys's, I guess, going down for the 40th, and then Dave, you being down there and stuff like that, it's going to be a little different. Like I would say the thing that happened for you. But like, what was something like you guys went down and that was your main focus to do? That's what you wanted to do, whether it be meet a person, get a signature, experience something, see something, take a picture of something. Like, what was that one thing that you guys like were waiting for the 40th? Daryl first.
Hey, just quick side note, Bayman's in the house.
Bayman's in chat. I don't know. I'm saying like Michael saying hi to Bayman, Dana saying hi. He hasn't commented yet, so I mean.
Oh man. So you want to know like what we expected, or?
No. I want to know what you were wanting to do down there. when you went down there, Daryl? Like, what was that main thing that you wanted to do? You brought costumes, you brought things to give away to people. There were people that you were going to meet. You kind of had like an itinerary of those things. But what was that one thing that your main focus that you really wanted to do?
Oh, I mean, it was hanging out with the people that I hung out with at the house. You know, I wanted to, and meeting everybody. No, hanging out with everybody. Really, that was the main thing. Like, I was excited to just hang out with finally get to meet everybody in person. You know, like Dave, and you, and Jason was, you know, a surprise, which was, I mean, you know, he was my ride or die. Him and Michael Christopher were my ride or dies. But yeah, just getting to meet everybody was my main objective. Like, you know, I literally, I told everybody, I was like, you know, we got to meet up somewhere. I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but we got to meet up somewhere. You know, obviously I knew where to find Dave, and I knew I could find you at your, you know, you told me you were at your house, and then you were at the 80s, you know, market. I knew that, but yeah, that was my whole objective, just to meet everybody. And then I wanted to experience everything that went on, which I did. I mean, everything from, you know, obviously the VIP hour, and then, you know, all the way down to the Astoria Underground and JP Conley's panel. And yeah, I tried to hit everything. I missed a couple small things, but, you know, it's fine. I didn't have the time. But I hit everything, met everybody, and couldn't have been better.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Jason,
yeah. You're up, buddy.
Well, I pretty much did everything I wanted to do, except for one thing I won't mention. It was a long shot. It was elusive. It didn't happen. But you know what? So many other things did happen that, like, I just was not expecting. Especially the people that I met, the friends that I made. Like, I just wanted to be in that town where Goonies lives. It still lives. It's still there today, you know, and like just to be in the presence of the house, to actually, you know, stand where, you know, all the other Goonies, you know, stood, you know, 40 years ago, you know, or 41 years ago. And it was absolutely amazing, you know, and just to see the sights of the town, because it looks like it hasn't changed at all. You know, I mean, it has, but it hasn't. You know, there's you know, new paint, new construction, but everything, the feel of the town was like still the same. And like the locals were amazing. And no, I had an itinerary. I had, you know, places I wanted to see, things I wanted to do, you know, and I hit them all and then some. Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't leave disappointed. I left completely surprised. When I came back, you know, I was telling everybody, I was like, the whole trip, everything was just serendipitous, you know, like I was in the right place at the right time. Absolutely. All the time for everything. And it's just, yeah, I mean, just like, again, like when Daryl and, you know, Mike Christopher and I like all met up, like I said, and like Daryl said, you know, like the house brought us together, the house knew, because like that day, I think I came in on Thursday, and I had a long travel day, and I was driving, and I was like, I'm just going to go and check in and crash, you know, where I was staying, and maybe see the house the next day. But once I started seeing signs for Astoria, and once I started seeing all the Douglas fir trees and just the town itself, and I was like, I'm going straight to the house. So I drove in from Portland and drove straight to the house. And I walked up there, and, you know, there was Daryl. He was handing out his bags and talking to people and showing his screen used coins. I got to see them many times that weekend. And
I think I got a picture with you guys. That was the time I got a picture of you guys.
Yeah.
There you go, right there. One-eyed Willie's protecting them.
Oh yeah.
So he and, you know, Mike Christopher and Dustin were there, and, you know, just we hit it off, and like, you know, me, Daryl, and Mike just became a treasure hunting trio. Yeah. And again, like thanks. I mean, I can't thank Bayman enough for everything he's contributed to, you know, the Goonies, the house, everything, the weekend, and just, you know, what he's done. But like, I did send him a message and told him that, like, I thought one of the coolest things was the challenge coin hunt, because we've spent so much time doing that, and it became our own little treasure hunt. You know, like we became the Goonies, and we got to live out that adventure in Astoria. It was amazing. Yeah.
I guess I get mine.
I missed out on 4 of them. I'm upset about it. Don't get me started.
I got Bayman to sign my certificates. So
What?
There you go. There's
All right.
So thanks to Jason is how I got my coin. Like Escape Astoria sent him a random message, and they were like, "Hey, we heard there's one hidden in the Cook building." So I'm distracted. Whatever. Jason figures out where the Cook building is, so we'll walk over to it. It's the one that has Mystic, the escape room, and then Astoria Tattoo, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's probably just Mystic that they're talking about. And Jason's like, well, it doesn't hurt to go ask. So we go down in there, ask him, and he's like, yeah, sure enough, there's one hidden out in the lobby right now. It's in plain sight, easy to find. So we're like looking. I kind of go in there and I'm like, I don't know, no luck. And so he's like, so have you guys found a coin yet? And I was like, well, Jason has. We're kind of looking for me now. And he's like, well, you guys are the second people in here, only the second people that know about it. And he's like, the first couple that was in here was kind of rude. They were like, do we have to pay to get the coin? He's like, I didn't give them any clues or anything. So I'm going to give you a clue, like look up. And then sure enough, after that, like I found it in the corner of the ceiling, which I couldn't reach, my tiny ass. So Jason had to jump up and get it for me. If it wasn't for Jason, I probably wouldn't have found one. I went. One thing I don't think a lot of people knew was that you don't really have to wait for the TikTok videos. Like once a video popped up, like that place had a coin every morning, and about 50% of the places were refreshing around 3 p.m. So I went into like Sleeper every morning, but like Sleeper was super hard to find every day. And then I would go to, the regular spots. I went to Mystic quite a few times, went to Gizmos. I don't think I ever made it in the magic shop, but then we went to the tattoo place. But yeah, all those places had one every day, if not two. So Jason and I had curated a list and times of when they open. That's the other thing, is that places were opening early just to let people in. To find the coins and stuff like that. So you kind of had to know what their schedule was. It was usually about an hour earlier than they had posted, like on Google or whatever. But we had our little list going and trying to figure out the clues together and stuff like that.
That's cool. I didn't freaking have time. Like I kept, and the TikTok, I didn't even know that the TikTok thing was even a thing. Like I don't have TikTok, so I guess that probably would have helped out. But I didn't know I would get like a video that was like a repost on Facebook. And then I was like, oh, cool, let me go. And then somebody would be like, oh, found it. And I was like, really? Like that quick? And I didn't know.
Wait, hold on. Were we at the Flavel house when you came by?
No. So yeah, so that morning. You
got lucky, buddy. We were right.
I talked to people, but I was refreshing because I was already down there. So I was refreshing Dave's page, right? Because I was like, okay, there's going to be a hint on there. So let me refresh. And I kept refreshing, and I'm just like, we're going to have to go soon. Like, right. So my buddy Walt, and credit to him, because he was like, because he was at the house, and I was like, hey, he was like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to go look for a coin. And he was like, I'll come, like, let me go, like, we'll go, let's go do it. And he was like, if I find it, it's yours. I wouldn't be down here if it wasn't for you and putting the 40th together. And I was like, dude, thank you so much. And then, I'm refreshing. And then it was the, hey, Mikey. And Walt, he just looks at me and he goes, blah, blah. And like, literally we booked it over. He was by the flagpole. But I went up on the porch and Mario was there, Johnny was there, and it was before you two showed up. And Mario and I were up on the porch, and one of the ladies came out. She's like, "Can you guys please not be on the porch?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I was looking for a coin. I didn't know where those were at." And she goes, "You might," and the way she said it, she goes, "You might want to try around the park benches on the grounds." And I literally was like, yes. So I run to the back. I'm like looking everywhere by the park benches on my hands and knees. Another lady looks at me and she goes, "Can I ask what you're doing?" And I go, "Looking for a coin." She looks at me and she's like a quarter? I'm like, no, not like I'm homeless or anything, right? And I come back around the corner, and that's when Walt had found the coin, and in literally my boy Walt, in pure Walt form, he literally was like, "I told you I was going to give it to you." And so then I was like, man, I want to try to find one, so that way he has one and stuff as well. And it was awesome. And then you guys, I went to go look for Dave and got shut out at the museum. He was like, no, we can't let you in. Dave's busy. I was like, I'm like, in his thing, he said to come by, and I was like, okay, sorry, So I'm like, he's a busy guy. I get it, but we were leaving, so it just sucked time wise and stuff because I wanted to come by and take a picture with Dave, which I don't care if I had to drive 2.5 hours to go down there. I'll just go down there and take a picture with Dave and drive back home. We'll find a way. But that was my coin story because I also missed the panel. There was a woman that was looking for panel tickets for her and I think her brother, and she couldn't get anybody to sell it to her. And I was doing the market, and so I was like, "Well, I can't go, so I'll just sell her mine." And she was so thankful for that. But then I was like, "Man, Jeff Cohen made an appearance on there," and I was like, "Man, this sucks," But the market was amazing. I mean, I had so much fun doing that, and the people that I went with, they helped out doing everything. With like Gail, Walt, Tori, Jaren, like it got crazy busy at the beginning. And so I got a chance to meet like a lot of people. I got some pretty cool pictures with some kids that we gave the bandana to and the glasses. And man, they were just sporting them around, just looking super tough. And I was like, this is awesome. That's what it's about, right? The next generation of Goonies, those 9-year-old to 13-year-old kids out there. I was very surprised how many kids came out, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely, I love that it's being passed down from generation to generation. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I see it in the museum. I see it at work every day. I see everybody, Goonies of all ages, walking through and spouting lines from the movie. Kids, young kids, 4, 5, 6, spouting lines from the movie better than I can. It's amazing. I love it. I love being.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and you get to see that, like that's a joy, man, to be around that like daily. Gosh, I'm gonna come down there with my resume and just be like, can I work security for?
You're hired, man.
Right, seriously,
bro. Yeah.
You can be a stand-in for Dave. You got the cut.
Yeah.
I'll just go down there in the front with a little amplifier and a microphone and be like, ladies and gentlemen, you're Astoria Museum. No, yeah, that'd be fun. I couldn't imagine living in Astoria, man. I'd just be running around like a dumb Goonie all the time.
Yeah.
God.
Sounds about right.
Dave's like, that's what I do daily. So
that's what I do.
I had a question for Dave. Do you ever feel like a babysitter that's not getting paid? That's a good one.
Let's see. Yeah, Dave Knight has the dream job. I just read that on there.
It's not bad. Sure. It's not bad. It is probably it is top tier. It's so rewarding every day to greet fans from all over the world, give them a great experience, and then them have them just reciprocated immediately just by having smiles on their faces. It warms my heart to see people react to their surroundings when they walk into the jail or when they walk up to the house. It's one of the best parts of the job. I love it.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I gave out all the stuff I did. I do it for the smiles, I want to. Yeah. I like the element of surprise too. Like I love to surprise people.
Yeah,
I gave out so much stuff. Like I had, besides my bags, I had a ton of other stuff. I had doubloons. I had like a copper bones. I gave out a ton of stickers, a bunch like Baby Ruth's, the samples of the smoothies beer and all that stuff. Like I had so much stuff, and it just
man, that was so good. That was so good. I couldn't imagine getting drunk off it, but man, that was such a good that smoothie. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
You gave me some on the beach, and I was just like, all right, we got to go get one. When I went to Gizmos, I was drinking the whole can there on another podcast talking about Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, I don't even know where I'm at right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, Daryl was definitely a sought-after person.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dave.
I was just saying I unfortunately missed out on the bonfire at the beach. I was working that night, so I wasn't able to attend. That's one of 3 or 4 things that I didn't get a chance to do this time around. But it was just I had so much going on. Aside from I had 2 interviews with 2 different documentaries. I did one for Life After the Goonies. Lisa Downs interviewed me Friday morning, and then I had the tour at the house Friday afternoon, and then And then Saturday was just a blur all day, waiting for the big moment. I wanted to fit in more. I wanted to meet more Goonies. I felt like I met a ton of them, but not nearly as many as were around me. I just, that's what the 45th is for, to meet a few more of you guys, and meeting a lot of you on social too, bonding with this movie.
I'll tell you this though, the woman, she could be in here too, I don't know, but her name's Amy, and she friended me on Facebook. I did a VRBO literally over a year ago, and I asked her if I could have the house for the Goonies 40th weekend, and she was like, yeah, it's a little far out, but yeah, I could do that for you, right? And then as soon as we got done getting the house from her, I basically was getting ready to say goodbye. She came up. Her and her boyfriend and her son live on like the first floor, and then there's 2 more floors above that, and it's literally under a block away from the Goonies house. Yeah. And it was just amazing to be, so close, to be a part of it. And she, she's like, thank you guys so much, like being respectful. We kept it clean. We weren't being loud and obnoxious and stuff like that. And so I gave her a big hug, and I said, you can block this out for me every year for the rest of your life that you own the house. She looked at me and she goes, done. And so literally I reached out to her probably like 3 or 4 days later to see if we, hadn't forgotten anything at the place. And then I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I was actually being serious about, if I could rent it next year. And she goes, oh yeah, I'll save you some money. You're going to rent it directly from me. And she goes, and I already blocked it out for you for the next 5 years. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Dave,
I'm like done. That's why I was like, I'll be down there. I'll be down there maybe even 2 or 3 times a year. Just go down there, and when it's not the anniversary, and just take that vacation. But I think that next time, especially for the 45th, but also just being down in Astoria, I don't think it's that, we got down there on a Thursday morning and we did the museum tour. We had an opportunity to do the marketplace. I was up there doing the walkthrough. Each day had its own thing, and it took a lot of time, and you meet people while you're doing those things, but it's not enough time in like 2 or 3 days to really experience everything and be down there and stuff, And so I think I'd do a whole week. I would just do like weekend to weekend, do those things that are Cannon Beach, Seaside, and have some fun, and then go into town and do that stuff.
I did do a whole week. Did a whole week there.
Okay, Daryl, but we're not as cool as you, okay, Daryl?
I walked in Sunday night and to the count. I mean, I got into town on the 3rd. Yeah, on the 3rd. Mm-hmm. 2nd, 3rd, something like that. And stayed. My first night there was staying at Richard's house at the Short Circuit house.
That's right.
And then I wanted to take the next day to do my whole goal was like to get like a sunrise picture at Richard's house and like sunset. Neither of those happened because that stupid marine layer. But then I wanted to take the next day to like go to Cannon Beach and do all that stuff. So I was also supposed to meet the guys from Sloth Love Chunk podcast out there. And because I didn't know, I didn't know how everything is going to work out, whether I was going to get to meet people or not. So like specific people I probably thought I wouldn't bump into again. Like I, was going to make an effort to go to them, So I started to head out there. I stopped in Seaside to talk to Steve Barr from Beach Bum Laser Designs just to thank him for everything that he did. I mean, the $4,000 in magnets that he put out, and see what he had going on. And I told him previously, I was like, he did this thing where he's like, if I get if I get a certain amount of likes on this post or whatever, like I'm going to get a 40th anniversary sleeve. And so I just kind of threw icing on the cake, and I was like, if you get the tattoo, I'm going to get a tattoo. So he did get his tattoo. And so I was like, well, I'm going to stay true to my promise. And so I walked down to Against the Tides where he got his, and then was like, I don't know how feasible this is. Like, I want to get a tattoo that has to do with the event. And it's been all my tattoos that I have now. I haven't had a tattoo in I don't know how long. They're all from when I was like 18. So almost 30 years. So I was like, they're
all black and white.
What's that?
So they're all in black and white. That's how old they are.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I was like, I didn't think I was even going to be able to get to do it. But he's like, I'm going to finish up with this guy in an hour. If you want to come back, I'll do it. And so I had to I missed out on meeting the guys at Cannon Beach because this kind of derailed everything. Like I wasn't expecting to actually get it done.
Yeah.
And then I did. But it was just like things like that. Like, yeah, again, everything worked out. Like, and I ended up, they messaged me like the next day and they're like, hey, we're going to be, was it the next day? I don't know. One of the next days, they were like, we're going to be, our house visit is 9:00. So, or porch visit. So that worked out perfect for me. And I had nothing going on right at that time. So I just rolled up to the house real quick and finally met them. But yeah, man, like, I don't know, just everything worked out. Like it was crazy how everything worked out.
I think Daryl has plans to update his tattoo every anniversary now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna scratch out the numbers, like add.
He's gonna put a skull and crossbones over it. And...
Yeah, just a bone.
Well, I saw a lot of people down there that had different tattoos. I thought that the coordinates, the longitude and latitude, that was kind of a cool thing. That one of the girls had on there. There was a few others, and I gave me some ideas. I'm like, I got some room somewhere in there. There we go. Start doing a whole Goonies sleeve or something. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
One eye for Willie, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just get one of those. What do you call it? What do you call those little?
Yeah,
those little dermals. There we go. I'll walk. Everybody will know me as the coin guy. Oh, this has been awesome, you guys, man. It's good seeing you guys. And it sucks that, like, when we left and stuff, I felt like we had at least a couple more weeks of some partying and some hanging out to do. So that's why I think hearing Bayman also say, like, we don't have to do this every 5 years. Like he owns the house now, right? Like he has created such a huge thing for the Goonies that I think it should be every year. It doesn't, I mean, obviously, it's not like you have to outdo every year. People can't, make it every single year. It's, a certain amount of money to spend when you're coming across the United States or other countries, but being able to create that kind of open door feel, right, where we can just kind of keep it going. And I definitely want to be a front runner for doing that. Just every year, just be down there and try to help coordinate and do more activities, have some more Goonies events and things like that. One of the biggest things I love to do in my past, I did it when I was in some motorcycle clubs, and a few things that I've done is to raise money, fundraisers for the community and stuff. And I think Goonies is family, right? It's family, it's friends, it's your core group. And I think being able to be a part of something like that for the people in Astoria, for the community, that's down there, and being able to do something that helps to not only raise money but support people that are down there. I mean, we come into that town from outsiders feeling like we're a part of this home. I think giving back a little bit like that, and being on the 40th site, there was sometimes I was like, Dustin, calm down, because I felt like I had to defend a Bayman and Astoria and things like that, because people were coming on like, why did they need to how come they need $2,500 for VIP just to meet these people, and how come you have to do this? I'm like, I get it. Like you can't afford the 2,500, so you can't go. So now you're pissed because you don't want it to be 2,500. But it should be special for those people that are taking their time and their money to be able to give that to the restoration, right? Yeah. And to be able to help that. And there's a lot of money. It's nobody gave them money and said, here you go, restore the house, And so it's something that they wanted to do. And Mr. and Mrs. Walsh did it right, and I appreciate everything that they did, and I think it's amazing. I told the story. I thought a year and a half ago when Bayman, I sent him a coin that I had made for the four of us. It was three of my buddies two of my buddies, myself and Bayman. And I sent it to him, and he was the first package. He had the Goonies. I wrote on it. I had a whole insert that I did with the Goonies coin. And he read it on his Instagram, and he put it on there, and he was like, thank you so much. He's like, I think we got to do something with this in the future, and man, I had no idea that they were going to do a whole 500, giveaway of coins and have it be this whole kind of thing. And it just made the 40th more exciting,
Yeah, sure.
I just saw Seth's comment on there, and I wanted to give him a shout out. I was going to say something, but if you didn't get a chance to stop by the magic shop, you missed out. Yeah. Seth Howard, absolutely amazing, great guy. I think his spot was probably the most crowded when people knew there was gonna be coins there. I mean, there were like lines down the street waiting to get in there, and like they mobbed him. But Seth gave our crew like a little personal magic show, and that was absolutely amazing. So Seth, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I got to talk to Seth a little bit on Sunday. I didn't find a coin there, but he was still a super nice guy to talk to. Talked to Dave for a while. Beeman, I mean, everyone was so great. I can't wait to go back. I mean, meeting everybody. I gave out the lanyards. People fell in love with it. People are supporting the show now. It's great. So next time I go out, we have about 500 lanyards to give out. So
Nice.
If you want one, come get one.
No, I got a chance to meet Seth. We were walking around, one morning, just, going around looking for Goonies stuff, coins, whatever. And I ended up getting a nice little trick from my boy Seth while we were down there.
Oh.
He was like, here's a 50-cent piece, and he was like, here's an English penny, and he said, if you take these two things, right, and you put these behind your hand, and then if you pull your hand away, you only have one coin. Oh, I learned that from Seth right there. He sent that to me. That was a good trick. I don't know where the other coin goes, and it takes me a while for it to find it again. So thank you for that. No instructions. I don't know how that works.
That's
Just joking.
Pretty sick magic card trick for me, Jason, and Michael. It was a long one. Actually, he did multiple, really. But yeah, that was really my only encounter with him. But he's a good dude, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was fun. Oh, thank you, Seth.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got props from the man.
Right. I know. Now you just gotta do it with a doubloon and a copper bones, right? I don't know how that would work, but no, it was awesome. I loved going downtown Astoria and seeing the different shops and the owners and stuff. And I got a few things while we were down there and stuff. And I had to limit myself on the things I wanted to spend, right? Because you kind of get carried away, especially when I went to the museum and I was like, please don't have any of my sizes for clothes because I will probably buy something, right?
I tried to buy something from every little place. I should have bought something from Seth's. I don't know why I didn't buy a magic trick, but I did buy the shirt. I bought the shirt.
I was gonna say you got the shirt I got.
But I try to buy something from every spot just to kind of remind me when I, put it on or like when I see it or something, remind me of those spots because I love every spot down there. Like, and then the nostalgia of it, like years later, just, put that shirt on and be like, man, that was such a good time in the magic shop or whatever,
Oh yeah.
I definitely tied all the places I liked into products that I bought, and I did not limit myself. I bought a lot of stuff.
Oh. I bet you spent a lot of money too.
That's the other thing is I just like to buy stuff from that area. You know what I mean? Like I hold off on buying Goonies shirts and stuff like that until I go into the area. I think I bought like 17 different shirts.
Wow.
Yeah, like a couple of hoodies and stuff like that. But yeah,
I just wanted to buy the one off of Dave's upper torso. He had the coolest chunk shirt that had chunks in it. Chunks in the chunk shirt. It was.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, it was an awesome. I'm 100% colorblind. I don't know if I told you guys this. I only see in black and white.
Oh, really?
And it sucks. Yeah. So when I looked at his shirt, I'm like, yeah, look at Dave's wearing a chunk shirt. Awesome. And then we're standing there next to each other, and I found myself staring at his nipple region, going, "Is that chunk? That's chunk." And Dave looks over and he pulls his shirt out, and he's like this, and I'm like, that's a bunch of chunks. I couldn't see it in there, but it was such a cool shirt. I thought that was awesome.
Like that.
I tried to buy Dave, but he wasn't for sale. His wife probably would have got mad, but
Like that shirt that Dave had on just now, I bought that just to remind me of Dave because when I picture Dave, I picture him in that shirt. I don't know why, I just do. So it's like every time I put that shirt on, I'm gonna think of Dave.
That's the Dave shirt.
My 10-year plan to get out there. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, speaking of like Goonies merch and like clothing, like you got to get Jay in here. If hopefully he has his jacket.
I sent him that link, but I don't think he's chimed in yet.
The Roosevelts. Is that the shirt you were talking about? The Roosevelts.
Look right there on the side. Look at this. Where's the chunk? There he is. There's a chunk. It's like Waldo, only like a million Waldos. That's so awesome. Yeah, I love that shirt.
Want to be twinsies?
Oh wait, you got one too?
I've got it too. Yeah, for sure.
What? Does this come in a double extra large tall? I mean, because I need to find me one, man.
We'll find something.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, that was my problem. I had this shirt made, and the one that I went up there that I toured the house with and stuff, I had that one made, and this is an 8-bit design, and I had this on a few of the merch and stuff like that. But like, I just had shirts made because every time I would look, I would get stuff in from Amazon, and I'm like, nope, you're going back. Nope, you're going back. And I mean, I'm a big guy, I get that, but man, it's like this is gonna be so hard. I'm like 4 days before the Goonies, and I'm like, I should have planned ahead a little bit. I saw everybody with so many cool Goonies things too.
I had a shirt made. I should have brought it up here to have it ready to show. I didn't think about it, but I actually went to the Astoria High School, to their website, and they had a spirit shop or spirit store, because I was like, I want to get a Goonies shirt that like nobody else is going to have, something that's like subtle, yet still Goonies. And I was like, if I grew up in Astoria, I would have gone to that high school. And I've played, volleyball for over 30 some years. So I had an Astoria Fisherman volleyball shirt made with the school colors, the purple and the yellow. And I was wearing that, and I couldn't tell you how many times people thought I was like a local. They're like, oh, you're from Astoria. And actually when I was back home, I caught a connecting flight in Denver, and I crossed paths with some guy, and he was like, fisherman. Yeah. He's like, I'm from Astoria. I was like, that's cool.
You're like, awesome. Yeah. I'm not from here. That is awesome. There's so many comments. I didn't scroll. Have you scrolled back, Johnny?
I've kind of been looking, but I've been trying to.
It's just so hard to keep up with everybody. But everyone just.
I know we get to talking, and then people are chatting on there, making comments. I've been kind of reading them, looking for some. I do know that I did want to. Actually, I think I might have sent that to you, Johnny, which I'll send it to you now too. There's. Did I send you that link by chance? Let's see here, bud. Let me see. I'm going to send you this link. This is from Jesse Moore. So Jesse Moore, he might be in here still. He might not be. But he bought a coin from me after I came back. And got some stuff. And I gave him a bunch of extra stuff because he's got a fundraiser, and he is they're trying to raise some money. There, I send it to you, Johnny. They're trying to raise some money, and they're doing a whole airing of the Goonies. They have a car show that they're going. Troy's going to be bringing the Jeep down too. I'm going to follow my Harley like I'm cool, but not as cool as the Jeep. I'll put one of my flags in the back or something, right?
Shout out to Troy to getting that Jeep done. I knew he was struggling for a bit, and I'm so happy he got that done, dude. Yeah, I was rooting for him all the way, and he got it done, man. So shout out to Troy. Thanks.
And it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's what it is on there, and it's something that we'll put in. I can put in the comments, or we'll put in the comments as well. But you can also look that up too. But next Saturday, and for a good cause. I mean, that's what the Goonies is about, right? And helping people and being a family and things like that, never say die, that kind of attitude. And so I think it was a worthy enough thing to be able to mention on here. And he got an opportunity because this last weekend in Washington here at the Puyallup Fair, or the Washington State Fair now, they had the Washington State SummerCon. And so Kerry Green was there, as well as some other people. He has things that are signed by Sean Austin, by them, for stuff for giveaways and things like that. And he has a haul. I'm telling you, there's so many donation things and people that sign things for him to be able to give away. So it was pretty amazing. And I'll get with him a little bit more, be able to post it so people can kind of look for that a little bit more.
Where was that at?
It's in Washington.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And so Troy. So it's ironic. So Troy came up did the Jeep build. Troy and I live about 10 minutes away from each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So So yeah, so it's kind of a funny thing to think, because at that point when they did it, and then I saw Bayman post something on Instagram, and he was like, I'm out here in Lakewood, Washington. I'm like, I think I can hear you, Bayman. You're that close. I think I can actually hear you talking right now. So that was pretty cool. So it was awesome. Yeah.
To show the shirt real quick.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, nice. A story of fisherman volleyball.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but it's provocative.
Yeah, no, the fishermen, that's their mascot. And you know what? Until I went to their website and saw like what the high school website, the high school mascot was, I went back and watched Goonies, and the opening chase scene when they showed Data. I know they shot this like on his scene, like on a stage or back in California, I believe. But if you look behind him, there's like a concrete like collar or something. I don't know what it is like, but there's graffiti spray painted and it said Fisherman 85 on the right behind him. I had never noticed that before until I learned what the high school mascot was.
And it's a fisherman. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
You know, they had actually shot that scene in Astoria, but when they looked at the dailies, it was too dark, so they had to reshoot it on the lot. That was another thing. Like, I had been putting together like this whole list of like facts and stuff that I was going to release before the 40th, and I didn't have time, man. I it just ran out of time. I was doing too much stuff, trying to get my costumes together and make sure everything was,
your costumes were pretty on point, man.
Yeah.
Dude. You have no idea.
It's like Don Brown in Back to the Future talking about the crudeness of his models. You remember that? And he's like apologizing for the crudeness of it. Yet it's like amazing. Yeah. So
I'm
sorry, it wasn't a Goonies reference. Sorry.
No, that's and yeah, you're correct though. He's like, hey, man, I'm Daryl. I just do a couple of costume changes that look identical to the people.
So I had to have it had to be as screen accurate as possible. So I literally had 80s Bugle Boy pants, like the same ones that he had. And the funny thing, like I don't know if I ever told you that story. So like I found there's like a parachute pants store online where you can get the actual 80s pants and stuff, but they only had like size 29-inch waist. I'm a 31-inch waist. So I changed my entire lifestyle to fit into those pants. I changed my diet. I started like working out and stuff, and I lost 15 pounds just to get into those pants, just because I knew I was going to be worried.
And you got down and fit into the Bugle Boy 29s.
He was skinny chunk.
Daryl, my right leg is a 31.5 inches away. So I just want to let you know that there's no way this big guy right here is going to be dressed like any Goonies, because there's nothing out there. That's why I probably identify with Sloth. You put on a Superman shirt and some grubby clothes, and boom, done.
Yeah. But I had to be as accurate as possible.
I mean, you did an amazing job. I mean, and seeing both you and Jason too. I mean, I was like, that's perfect. Like, that's
Troy too. Matt Davis, he was a really good Troy.
Mm-hmm. Dedication.
Daryl was dressed as Chunk when we went to Mouth's house and we recreated the kitchen sink scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, so
Jason is so genius with that stuff, because like I'm not the type that's thinking about like artistic stuff or like recreating the scenes, but Jason was always like, we got to recreate the scene and stuff like that. He's so smart about that. And so that was another reason why I'm so happy the house brought us together, because he was like thinking about that stuff, thinking about stuff that I wasn't, comprehending or thinking about.
That's
awesome. We went to Mouth's house and we did, we shot that scene. Really nice young family there that owns it. They're like very kind to let us come in, and like their kids were just like, toddling around us and all weird trying to shoot that. And we asked them, we're like, has anybody, sat up on the counter and they're like, no. And he was like, I was like, can I open up the cabinets under the sink? And he was like, yeah. He's like, it's got child locks on it, but I'll like pop them open. I stuck my head in there and we
well, it was crazy how it looked so similar to the scene. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, it still looked still original tops, like still original cabinets. I think they changed like the hardware on them, but everything was like still the same except for the sink itself.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. And why we love Astoria, because it just doesn't change.
Right.
Nostalgia.
And if they change it, you change it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was $5, right, guys? $5 to go into
Yeah,
Mount
yeah.
House, and completely worth it. I left at 20. I was like, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
recreated
so
it.
did I. I did too.
Yeah.
I left at 22.
Yeah, all right on, man.
But yeah,
That's-
I had seen early on that they were doing those like way before, like weeks before, or it felt like weeks. I don't know, maybe it was days, but like a ways before that they were gonna do those tours. And then we went out there. I was like, let's go do the Mouth House tour, like me, Michael, and Jason. And they didn't have the sign out there. And I was like, I know they're doing them. Like maybe they're just not home. So we ended up, I did the bus tour, the site tour, and it went by Mouse House, and then I saw the sign up again. So I hit up Jason, and I was like, dude, we got to go, man. I think we were out front of the museum or something. I was like, let's go get it done now, while they're still doing it before they take the sign down or whatever. And yeah, we got in. But yeah, just
So
another
cool.
thing that worked out. Luckily, like, I think we'd pretty much given up on trying to get back to that place. But then I did the bus tour, saw the sign. I was like, we got to go do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, we flew there. I felt like I was on the Fratelli chase when Daryl threw there. He's like, we're going. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dave, question for you, bud. How long have you been down there in Astoria?
My wife Heather and I, we've lived here now for about 4 years, and it's the best 4 years I think we've had together. It's been amazing. This was one of the. It could probably be viewed as a crazy decision just to decide to move to Astoria on the fly without ever having visited once before. I only knew Astoria from the movies and from YouTube videos, and it was a forced hand. There's a long story behind it, but we ended up relocating to Astoria based on our love for the movie, and it's been really good to us. Astoria has been wonderful. Working at the museum has been a blessing too. It's I couldn't ask for anything more, really. Very, very grateful for all of it. But yeah, to answer your question, about 4 years here, almost 3 years at the museum, and counting, and no signs of slowing down.
So Dave came to Astoria for the 36th anniversary and never left. Is that what you're saying? Like,
Actually, right. It was. Yeah, it was an off year. Things were slow. But the 40th was looming the whole time I was there, and I, in the back of my mind, I was like, "You got to be ready for this, man, because this is going to be something special, And I was, I'm an introverted person. I can count my friends on my hand, and when I first moved here, I didn't know anybody. I was very shy, and I think I really spent about a year and a half just kind of adjusting to my new surroundings before I actually started to reach out or talk to anybody or start to integrate myself in the community. And working at the museum certainly jump-started that. As soon as I started working there, it was like, okay, you're a very front-facing job, and here I am, and welcome to my museum. And just one thing led to another, and I started developing relationships with people, and opportunities were presenting themselves to me, and it's been a wild experience so far. It's not
That's
over
awesome.
Yeah,
right. It's just getting started.
It really is. In a lot of ways, it is, and I'm glad you guys are going to be a part of it, and I'm glad our viewers, a lot of you, are going to be a part of it too. That's
Dave, at least I know that Daryl and Jason and myself are already going to be moving in with you and your wife soon. So, I mean, to get, just to get into Astoria, right?
I appreciate the effort.
We'll just show up and go, so how much is rent? So is this what we're doing here? No. But no, I met you like 2 years ago.
I'm sorry?
What was that, Daryl?
I said I'm pretty small. I could probably just like fit in a dog bed or on the couch or something pretty easily.
Oh yeah, I'll just walk around with him on my shoulders.
I do know that the upstairs of the jail has a couple of rooms available with very good security, so I'll stay there.
No, Dave, I got a chance. I went down, did a a 42 about 2 years ago, maybe almost 3 years ago. Anyway, no, it was 2 years ago, and it was because I got my Goonies stamp for the Goonies weekend. But I went down and did a McMinimans. I did 42 McMinimans in 3 days down in Oregon. Just going in, taking pictures, getting some cider down there, and we stayed at the Edgefield. I can't remember where else we stayed. We stayed somewhere like Gearhart. I think it was the other one we stayed at too for McMinimans. And I remember getting the chance to go down there, and I went with somebody, and her and her friend had never been to Astoria, and they were like, "So wait, we're gonna go see the whose house?" And I go, "The Goonies house." They're like, "The who?" And I go, "The movie." I was like, you can leave right now if you'd like. I don't even care if you come with me. Just go away. Like, I don't even. They're like, "Oh, the movie The Goonies." And so we went up there and did that. And I remember because when I met you up at the house, at the Goonies house, and you look, and I even said that I was like, "You look so familiar," like probably seen you around. And it was because I ended up getting a Goonies stamp, going down, visiting the house and stuff, get my little passport for McMinimans. But when I went down to the museum, I went down there and bought a T-shirt for a friend, and you were there, and that was the reason. And I couldn't, in my head, when I was there, I was like, "Why does he look so familiar?" Like, I don't come here that often.
You're Dustin, right? You're Dustin, and
yeah.
That's all it took. Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute."
Oh, come on.
No, but it was great. It was amazing, man. I can't thank you enough personally for just making that opportunity up there at the house. Like, just you say you're introverted. When it comes to that, yeah, I'm loud by default, but I have my moments. I pick and choose my moments when it comes to that kind of stuff. And when you don't know anybody, and when you're up there and you kind of feel out of place, and I didn't know even why I was there for one reason, it was just, it was like this weight lifted off my shoulders when we started talking and just kind of hanging out and stuff. It's kind of like when we went up to the house, Daryl, and I saw you up there. I was like, "Yeah, I got to see somebody that I wanted to meet from, the 40th and things like that, And then I saw Johnny on the friggin' beach, and finding out that that's what Jason looks like, not from the Sloth video. So I didn't put that together when I met him. And then when he said that, I did, he was like, "I did a Sloth video," and I was like, "That's where I know you from." Yeah. So it was pretty cool, man. And I can definitely say I call you guys friends for life, and I'm not joking. Like, we're going down next year, and we're gonna bug Dave as much as we can. We're gonna have those drinks and those playing some cards and hanging out night type of chill when it's not the 40th, right? We'll just be able to relax and chill and hang out and stuff like that. So I think it'll be great. So I'm
going back out for the 41st. I might have to now.
There you go. See, got to be on that vacation plan for the yearly.
Yeah, I love Shannon. Miss Ben from my other shows.
But nice.
We still have Jay Ryan. You want to bring him in?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Is he? Because I sent the link.
He's in. He's ready to go.
Yeah, bring him in.
He'll
Larry, the man, the myth, the legend, Jay Ryan.
Live from David Letterman's set.
Dude, I mean, I even asked him, I was like, "I got to get a set like that." And he was like, "You got a dining room?"
You can't get that.
And I was like, "It's like, that's your dining. What the heck?" I was like, "I'm in my dining room right now."
Some dark chocolate covered espresso beans from the Astoria Coffee Company, which was one of my favorite stops every time I'm there.
Excellent.
I made friends with the owners of that place. They're freaking awesome. And I'm enjoying some of their brew as well.
Oh, heck yeah, brother.
As well as the conversation that you guys have been having for the last 2 hours. I'm sorry I had to switch my camera because my iPad died, so I can barely see you. But I'll get in my little get up and my little bit here. I don't know if anybody else got this paper when you were in town. I want to have it framed, but maybe I should have it scanned first. It's not only got the house on it, but it's got the whole article about the patches as well.
Oh man,
very cool.
That would have been. I got one of those little like a little I don't even know what it was. It had chunk on it though, but I can't remember what that was. And I left that at the rental that I rented. So like, well, that sucks. But
I think some of those have ended up on eBay.
It's so great to see you guys. I've been really enjoying the conversation. I've only been like, the only part is I've been jealous because like you're all enjoying each other's company, and I'm like, I miss them.
No,
I want to
know,
play
and
too.
I don't have control of the, I was kind of waiting for you to chime in, and I kept looking at the comments, being like, okay, as soon as he chimes in, I'm going to get him in here.
I didn't know if you could see the comments because in the beginning when Mark Marshall was on, I asked 3 times. I was like, somebody please say hi to Mark Marshall for me because like we know each other now, and and it didn't happen. So I thought maybe I don't know, whatever. I've been here. I was here for all of the conversation. It was so great to hear like so many people's different stories and some of your different answers. But I have a couple questions. Jason, have we ever met before this weekend? Because your name is so familiar to me and your face was even kind of familiar to me.
No. I mean,
he's not Daryl Boggs, and he's not Bayman Zachary. That's what he got to say.
I know those other 2 guys.
I've worked on some TV and film, but I wouldn't be recognizable, and I'm not credited. So I don't know.
All right.
Just
are you in the LA area or?
No, I'm East Coast. I'm in Virginia.
Yeah, that's very unlikely we would have run into each other.
He's closer to me then. Jeez.
Right on.
Yeah, Daryl.
Well, thanks for having me, you guys. It's been so fun to listen to the conversations.
Oh yeah, brother. I caught some of your show too. That's when I made the comment about your set and stuff because I chimed in. I think it was toward the end. There was only about 15 minutes left. I didn't get a chance to be on there more and stuff like that. But I was like,
yeah,
damn, like this guy. Look at this guy.
I think that like you, one show just isn't. It just isn't enough. It's like I was just talking to one friend. Like at least you've got the interface here. You got 6, 7 people you're talking to kind of like all jump into it together. I think we need to end up doing the same thing because while Brandon and I had a great time talking about our experience, like you guys, there was a whole crew. Like you got Adam the Woo and Robbie Retro and Justin Scard and I don't know if he's still here, but he was before Richard Bates. Short Circuit House.
Yeah.
And we were all and Mike Christopher. We were all just kind of in this little clique. And I want to do I want to do what you did tonight. This has been inspiring.
Yeah,
this is very impromptu because when Johnny invited me to come on a show last week, and it was my first time ever doing a podcast like with him. Like I didn't know what we were doing. We just kind of freelanced a little bit. Like didn't really have it. He was reading off some of the comments. Kind of talked. We kind of talked a little bit about us. Brought some people in, kind of asking some questions. Things like that. It was awesome, And then this week I reached out to Bayman. I know that he was busy, and
he was busy, but
so
everyone knows he was also in the room watching this show for a bit tonight. So he was also here supporting.
I know. Yeah, I noticed that, and it was like one of those things where a lot of people reached out. They're like, "Can you get Bayman on? Can you get Bayman on?" I'm like, I don't know Bayman like that. Like, I mean, I will ask him definitely. And Johnny asked him. Oh no, go ahead.
No, we're gonna have we also I love Bayman and Liz so very much. Happy birthday, Liz, by the way. We are gonna have them on soon. I really want to do it in person. It's just very rare that they're actually here in LA unless it's something like for the TV show or whatever. But we may end up having to do satellite. But I can't wait, and I'm sure they would do your show as well. I think that'd be awesome. I getting a chance to meet her up there and having her talk, and then Bayman right after he came out of the house and stuff before Dave and I got a chance to go in there and things. It was just great to meet him. It was funny because Mario was in there and he was talking to him a little bit, and then I can't remember who else. Somebody else was talking to him too, and I was kind of just waiting. I'm like, we talked online, but I haven't met him yet. And then as soon as Mario looked over, I think at him, he was like, "Oh, and do you know Dustin?" And Bayman just goes, "I know Dustin," and gave me a big hug, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much." That was amazing, right? And having that ability to Mark, I mean, that was just me reaching out earlier this week after our show. I just kind of was thinking because him and I had talked for about a week. We were just kind of going back and forth, and he gave me some serious inspiration about I was looking into wanting to do the podcast, talk to Johnny a little bit about it, and then when I was younger, I always wanted to get into acting or do something that had to do with film and stuff. I just love it so much, and man, he just reached out and gave me some inspiration about his youth, how he got into it, something that was a motto that his mother had given him and things like that. And then when I reached out, it was yesterday for just an idea of, hey, could you give us
some ideas that I could do with like facts that nobody would know because only you know, right? And he was like, how about better than that? How about I come on the show? And it was just
great.
like, I was like, yes,
He's
yes.
such a great human being.
Oh yeah, I was like, of course, yes. And then I got nervous, and then I told Johnny, and then he got nervous, and it was like, okay, what do we do now?
So my experience meeting Mark Marshall was I just was watching people fan over him the whole weekend, right? Because obviously, but he was also staying at the Short Circuit House through our mutual friend Richard. So I ended up getting to meet him there on the last day when he was doing his interview for the Lisa Downs Life After Goonies that I heard you guys reference earlier. First of all, that team is the best. Can't wait for that documentary.
Yeah.
What I got to do was I got to witness Mark Marshall being just a freaking awesome human being. He was doing this interview and that was great. And he was just treating everybody with such care and love and grace. And it was like really inspirational for like, oh, this is how you're supposed to treat people. It was so cool. And then I got to watch him like sit Richard down over in the corner of the deck on the Short Circuit House. You guys all know what that freaking epic view is like. And they sit down in the corner over at the table, and this is just them and Amy and I are watching from afar, Richard's girlfriend. And Mark sits Richard down to tell him how much he appreciated staying at the place, how much he appreciated the hospitality and his friendship. And then he started giving Richard gifts in appreciation. And somehow in the middle of all of this, he also overheard part of my story, which was kind of sad. I was on the road because my wife recently passed away, and this has been sort of a find yourself mission for me and whatever. And then he just shifted focus over to me and started giving me his attention. What I witnessed the day that I met Mark Marshall was like one of the coolest, warmest human beings I've ever met.
That's awesome, man.
So that when you say he said better than that, I'll do your podcast. Like I bet he would do it tomorrow and the day after too.
Well, and just the way that he even said after he got done, you know, we did the stories. People asked some questions. Johnny read off some questions that people we were putting in the comments, and after he got done, he was like, I'm gonna let you guys get the next guests on here and stuff. He goes, but I'm gonna hang out and watch you guys. And it was it's just like awesome. It's like, oh my gosh, are you like this is it? He's enjoying his time. He's enjoying the past, talking about it and saying those things and saying so many things we don't know. Like nobody would know.
I think you nailed it when you said he's enjoying his time. He's enjoying giving as much as everyone else is enjoying receiving. And that's like just so beautiful to me.
Yeah. 100%, man. It's awesome.
I mean, even
hi, Dave, you guys. It's so great to see you. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Jay.
What's up, Daryl? So great to see you guys.
You too, man.
It's so weird how like I heard you say it among each other, but I feel part of the same clique. Like we all made friends for life. We said it on our show the other day. We joked with Justin and Adam the Woo. We're like, this is something we all went through together, kind of like the Goonies.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is too, and going down there and being able to meet your Goonie counterparts and things like that. Kind of like when I went up there and I saw Daryl. I looked over and Daryl's giving away some stuff, and I looked over and I'm like, it's hard for me as a big guy. I don't want to look over and be like, hey, Daryl, and have him be like, Jesus, what the hell, right? So letting other people approach me is a little bit easier. And Daryl looks up and he goes, Dustin? I was like, yeah, what's up, buddy? It was just awesome.
It's funny you say it, how we all grouped up, because you're right. Like the dynamic was they were all Goonies. Everybody, each group of 5 or 6 kids or kids, we're all 40 or 50, 40 or 50 kids. But each group of guys or people was like, oh, there's all the different shapes, the sizes, the personalities. That's an interesting point. I didn't really think about it because it was true in our group, of course, and we noticed it. And then it's true in your group, and then and then you think about every other group you met, and they were all the same. Wow.
Yeah, everybody had their little groups, and every little group just kind of became that one person for the next group and the next group.
And we were all doing the same stuff, right? Like we were literally. So did you guys go to the house today? Oh no, we were gonna go this morning, but we went to the jail instead. And we did the house first. Now we're going to the jail. Like it was so hilarious. Over too. Just being in such a small town and crossing over so often with each other.
It was like the whole town was like an amusement park. It's like, oh, did you guys have that? Did you see this? Like just the whole town.
I will say
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I want to thank everybody for traveling in and somehow just walking around, because I had rockstar parking no matter where we went all week long. It was amazing. Where are we going? Fish Company? I'll park right out front. Where are we going? Gizmos? Right out front. Like, it didn't matter. It was crazy.
Yellow
That's
car.
awesome.
Yeah, it was
Yellow
very.
car for the win.
I had
That
a
was
bunch
my
of
wife
people-
helping from beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of people reaching out. Where are you at? And I'm like, I'm downtown at the. Yeah, I know. And they sent me a picture of my truck with my 2 flags on it. And they're like, we're by your truck. And I'm like, okay, I'll be back in like an hour. Please don't do anything to my truck. But it was great too, because I did say that to a lot of people. There was probably about 30 to 40 people from the 40th that were like, hey. When I get down there, like, where are you going to be? How am I going to find you? I go, I'm gonna have a truck with 2 flags on it, and I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. You can't miss me.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, okay. And then people would come up and they go, you're right. I noticed you right away. I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
It was crazy how. I mean, I don't know how many people. Dave, do you know how many people descended upon Astoria for this? I don't know if it was thousands, obviously, right?
We don't have the numbers yet, but as soon as I hear anything, yeah.
It was wasn't it at least like 10,000, like 10 to 15,000?
So
Yes.
hypothetically, let's just go with that for like just guessing, right?
Yeah.
Call it 10,000 just to be modest,
Yeah, right.
Conservative. I feel like it's still pretty crazy that we continued to run into each other every day, It was just a really, I don't know, communal experience.
Yes.
It was not a lost sea of people like I thought it was going to be. Like I said, I ran into almost everybody. I really didn't think I was going to run into anybody, but I ran into everybody. It was insane.
Right. So you're planning to go to this thing and you're like, ooh, I hope I see the 5 people on my list. But in my mind, my wife and I used to have to work Comic-Con every year because she was big in the entertainment industry and she represented a lot of famous people and they all had to go promote stuff at Comic-Con. So we would go there every single year. And if any of you have ever been, it is a zoo. And I think I was expecting like a mini version of that. And it was so the opposite. I was feeling like everybody was somebody.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I expected that 100%. That's what I was going to feel like in Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle. Like, it's at the convention center. It's like everybody has their little place they're going to go to, and you're going to be crowded, toe to toe. I felt like downtown driving there. I was like, okay, maybe we'll just walk from the house, because we were a block away from the Goonies house where we stayed. I was thinking maybe we'll just walk downtown, right? Save the truck and the parking. Man, every time I went downtown, it's like, whoa, let me just parallel park right here in my truck and walk to where we need to go. It was, but there was a lot of action, a lot of people, and I think that the market really proved that, because there was so much foot traffic in there. You kind of knew that everybody was going to be there for like that 5 or 6 hours. Yeah, I saw a lot of those people there. Like Justin was down there, and they had the production guys and stuff like that were down there and things. So you saw those people, and then as soon as you left and went into town, it was like, oh, hey, somebody's just over here eating, and there's Dave on the corner, doing his little thing with his chunk shirt.
We talked about this on our show, and it was really kind of overwhelming to me, and I'm curious if you guys experienced the same thing. The city of Astoria itself, take the Goonies aside, take the travelers, the visitors, all of us nerds, take Bayman out of it, take all that out of it. Yeah. The city itself seemed to be so happy to have us. They seemed happy to... Yeah. They were happy that we were in their city, in their store, in their restaurant, whatever it was. And even down to like the police getting involved with the patches that I heard you guys talking about before. I was really kind of taken with that part, with how even the municipality got involved in what is essentially our nerdery.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys experience the same thing, or were we just really lucky with the people we ran into?
No, I really did. I talked with quite a few locals, and they were all like happy to have us here, and they were all happy to just talk about Astoria, just like tell me little tidbits, like things I didn't know unless you're local, and all the merchants. When we ran around searching crazily for the challenge coins. Like I'd go into a shop and I'll ask them first, be like, are you guys participating? Before I start looking and like
before I tear the place apart.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad. I'm like, is it okay if we look around? And they're like, have at it. Look all you want. So it's like I'm like looking over people having dinner at Inferno. Like I'm like going through all the racks at Mystic. But it was great because I got to meet, you know, a lot of local merchants, a lot of the, you know, locals that live there, and they were all very accepting of us and happy to have us there.
We all
Everybody
checked
was
every
great.
single fish taco for a coin before we bid into them.
I know I ate so
So
many.
we went to that place like 4 different times in that weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
South
Like,
Bay
wait,
Wild.
I had
Nothing
one
more.
bad encounter. It was the Karen that lives next to Bayman. I got to meet her face to face.
No.
She was bringing down her trash can, and I had like offered to help her, and I was taking drone shots. And I guess I was standing in the spot where her trash can went, and she was just like really mad. She went over to Liz and like told on me, and she was like, I know you put that thing in front of my house. I'm like, it's nobody cares about your house. It was not in front of your house. Yeah, I got to meet everybody, even her.
Yeah.
Even the Karen.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, you know, if you're not into this thing that we're all obviously very into, it would probably be an overwhelming situation for them. I don't know how it all worked because we were all in their yard because production looked to me like they rented it out or something. I mean, we were all in their yard for days. So, you know, I don't know how that all works. I'm sure they'll get it figured out among neighbors, but I'm sorry you had that experience. Luckily, the rest of us, I think, had great experiences on the
I
property.
thought it was hilarious. I got to meet her face to face. You know, the one that put the sign.
You know, Daryl's like, can I make it your signature really quick?
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, Karen, I mean, whoops, sorry.
Well, yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
glad
it-
you didn't
it's-
mistake me for you.
Everybody was so welcoming. I loved it.
I didn't have a single bad experience with anybody from the story. I think everybody was so welcoming when it came to going downtown. You know, like even there was a couple locals. There's this one like homeless guy. He saw me like 3 times in my truck with the flags, and he's like, "Never say die!" And then he like pick something off the ground and eat it. I'm like, "Awesome, thanks, bro!" Like, you know. But I mean, just everybody. We went down to Rogue down there and got a chance to eat some lunch and stuff like that. And even the people that were there, they're like, yeah, man, we're waiting for the rush. It's going to be awesome. You know, just hoping some people come in and have a good time. And like, they didn't care. Nobody, it's like everybody just welcomed everybody. And
Right.
And that's what made it feel so warm, you know?
I was taken with, obviously, you know, they're trying to capitalize on the tourism and everything, but I was taken with how many of the merchants and businesses that were participating in the nerdery, whether it was the coin hunts or just something that they had done, a coffee shop naming a truffle shuffle latte, or you know, just whether they came up with one of their products that was Goonie related that they could sell or something. It just really incentivized anybody walking downtown, which was all of us, to pop into literally any store, not just the 80s retro vintage Video Horizons and stuff like that. Like we literally could pop into any store. And in fact, that's one of the reasons that Brandon, BC DeLorean, found the actual pirate book that Brand is looking at in the attic.
I watched that.
The Goonies. They were selling a copy of that book, and not even at a markup.
That was an epic purchase. I was so
epic.
I wish I would have thought about things like that. Like where else I want that book from the town? You know what I mean?
But again, this is credit to the town and this particular store. And I don't remember which one he bought it. Otherwise, I would have I'd throw you a plug. But wherever that book came from, it was in the Goonies section of their display. Yeah. And it wasn't marked up 600% like it could have been anywhere else. It could have been $300. It wasn't. I think he said it was like $30 or whatever a book should have cost.
God, what a find.
Crazy. Because we all would have fought over it.
Yo, yeah, right. And I remember watching him. He turns to the page, and I'm looking at that, going, "Oh yeah, there it is." That's I mean, so iconic.
Expect to see the lightning in the background, right?
Laser beams.
Totally.
Yeah, no, that was. Awesome.
I grew up loving this movie. I saw it like several times in the theater. My parents were divorcing at the same time, so I was like, you know, I was on my own little mission. It's been important to me forever, but never until this weekend did I ever actually feel like a Goonie, and I totally feel like a real Goonie now. So crazy. I sent Bayman a text on the last day that I was leaving. I kept extending my stay another day because they kept extending the production, and I kept staying for the production. So whatever, it was Monday or Tuesday or whenever when I finally was driving out of town, but I sent him a message with like a picture of me and Liz at the house or something saying, you know, how much I appreciated not only the inclusion of it all, but that he made each and every one of us feel like real Goonies. And that is a crazy feat.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, Bayman. You gave us
and
a time machine and an experience that we could never, ever, ever, ever forget.
when I heard that too online, it was like him buying the house. It was like the first thing that was said on that title was a true Goonie purchased the Goonies house, right? And that was immediately why that first time I reached out to him like 2 years ago. And then, when that challenge coin came, the idea for the challenge coin for me in my head was, this is the Goonies, right? It's a tight-knit thing for military, but it's a tight-knit thing for certain groups, and it's a way for people to show camaraderie between different, from nerds to military to sports to
coins,
everything. Yeah. And so I remember when I gave it to him on that original printout that I did, it was basically like the idea is like, you're making us a part of this experience with you, right? Like this you bought the house. You didn't buy it just because you're a Goonie. You bought it because you know how many of us are all Goonies.
It's not this from the movie, but somehow it's like our own little piece of the movie.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Totally agree with you. Yeah, especially that they're all numbered and like the individualized. I mean, that is just a neat thing.
I messaged Bayman after I left as well to thank him, and I told him, I was like, you made so many people's like childhood dream come true, and that I got to literally like step into my childhood dream and actually touch the world of Goonies, like, and become part of it. It was just and he said that was exactly why that they bought the house, was to be able to share it with the world. He said that he's so happy that some people are getting to do that now.
So 6 months ago, I'm sitting in the Goonies house, which was just the filming location from the house from the movie at the time. You know what it looked like 6 months ago. There was no furniture in the house but a couch and a box for a cardboard box for a coffee table. It's the only furniture in the place. Yeah. And the one-eyed Willie was in a chair in the corner, and a inflatable chunk was Data was in a chair in the corner. But like we were sitting on the floor. Yeah. And he's telling us this idea that, and Kip was there, Let's Run Some Red Lights, and Richard Bates was there, Short Circuit House. And Bayman's going through this idea he's got, and we're all amazed to just be sitting in the house, even on the hardwood floors, right? Looking out, seeing the bridge and the sunset. Crazy. But Bayman's like taking it one further. He's like, yeah, it's cool, but imagine if everything in here looked exactly like it did in 1985 when production was here. And I was like, absolutely. I know how to do that. I replicate things like I've done that professionally. I've done that for movie studios and stuff. I can totally see your vision. And he's going on and on and on. And I was like, well, that's getting a little crazy. Now you're getting really nuts. And then the clincher after all of this stuff, and I was like, look, that'd be incredible if you can even do it, of course. But he goes, and I want it all done by the 40th anniversary. And I was like, oh, amazing. That would be such a cool culmination. When's the 40th anniversary? And he's like, June. And I was like, right. Yeah. Okay. And he's like, this June. And I was like, this was in December. This was right before Christmas. This was like a week before Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, okay. I mean, look, that would be amazing. But both construction doesn't work that way. Production doesn't work that way. Like, there's so many things and factors in your plan that make it impossible that, next year for sure. 41st anniversary. Like, I think so. 42nd for sure. And the fact that we all just experienced it and he pulled it off with a huge team, obviously, from Adam F. Goldberg all the way to, JP Connolly and everybody involved. Yeah. But they freaking did it. And I think that my experience was the Goonie of it all, the fan of it all of that was incredible. But really, I also had this like disbelief going on of like, I was just here 6 months ago. This was a crazy idea. Now there's thousands of people here to witness that it totally happened. Yeah. I'm still a little bit like, it showed me what's possible in this world. It sort of rewrote my own DNA for like my life going forward, because Bayman inspired me, like personally, let alone the Goonies of it all. I mean, which is freaking amazing. I don't know. I feel the need to tell everybody that story so much because like I genuinely thought it was impossible. Like,
Yeah.
and I know a lot about all of the factors that went into this, and they all did it, and I'm just so impressed. So
You said it.
huge
You said it
applause and
correctly,
appreciation.
right? You said it correctly. 6 months ago, it was just an
Yeah.
empty shell of a home with the idea that it used to be the Goonies house, and
Yeah.
here he's saying, "No, I want it to be just like it was for the 40th." And you knowing what goes into that kind of stuff, right? You having the experience of that. It's different to have a dream, but it's also to know that reality of how difficult that is. And you saw both. You saw an empty home and this impossible dream of 6 months, and it all come together.
Ordinarily, there's some kind of compromise in the middle, right? He was just like plowing through with his goals.
Right? We're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, and we're gonna be done.
I'm sure it wasn't easy. I mean, I've talked to a lot of the people from production. This wasn't easy, but they did it, and it just it's inspirational. So
That's so awesome, man. Thank you for that.
And we all get to reap the benefits, which is amazing.
Right? I know.
Bateman's just an inspirational guy, period. Like I was talking to him about what's I talking about? About stage fright and like talking in front of people like that. And he gave me a good long talk. And he's like, no, what you got to do is you got to focus on one person and make it like you're having a conversation with them. But he's just inspiring in every way, shape, and form. And it's a blessing to have him as the head Goonie, you know?
Yeah. Well said, Daryl. Very well said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel he just strikes me as the type of person who, you know, is probably continually evolving and just always getting better every day, which I think is maybe a Goonie trait. I feel like I know that I aim to be that way in my own personal life, especially with the stuff I've gone through. But like I've always sort of tried to be that way. Yeah. And I feel like everybody I met, you guys and every other Goonie I met that weekend was sort of very similar. Like I didn't see any tussles. I didn't see any like disagreements. Nobody fighting over coins. Yeah. If anything, people were giving other people coins, you know, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the reason for all that? Is it the movie? Is it our generation? What the heck is it?
It's the Goonies spirit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
It is. 100%.
It's the feeling of family, right?
Yep.
You know, like you don't, I mean, everybody's going to have a problem with your friends and your family and your, you know, things like that. But how many times do you get with a friend or you get with a family member and you go and you're doing something that you both love, right? You're never sitting there arguing and you're never having a problem. You're not like, this is mine, this is yours. This is like, it's like, give, just here's my energy, here's my time, here's what it is. And I think when you get down to Astoria and you have so many people that are like that, it's almost like the town energy it's like this bubble. It's almost like this dome, right? That just sits there and shields us for that weekend or that time that we're there, that we're true Goonies. We get to live this out. You think of any other movie. What Bayman has done.
Yeah.
Where in any other movie could you do that? You go to Indiana Jones' house, it's not iconic. You go to another, you know, place that something else was filmed. It's okay, cool. You go there and you're like, I take a picture. When you go to Astoria, it doesn't matter where you go. The entire movie was encompassed in this Goonie realm, the Goondocks, and what you're trying to save. And
the town of Astoria is a character in the movie for sure.
It is. Yeah. The Goondocks is that eighth Goonie, that eighth wonder of the world.
You just helped me realize a little something, though. I think that I'm going to lose the thread, but I think that it's when you got, how many of you walked through the house for the show? Did you get interviewed afterwards?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. They interviewed a couple of us after we walked through the house for the docu show, and are
you getting verklempt?
Yeah, and I'm also trying to remember. It's two things. I'm getting emotional, and I'm trying to. I'm like realizing how much should I talk about, or how much should I leave for the thing to, like. I don't want to ruin what's in the documentary. If I'm not supposed to say anything, I just realized that too with the NDA. Maybe it doesn't matter, but they asked some really great questions, and part of it for me, my personal answer, with what the Goonies meant for me was, it was this. Yes, it was an adventure for the kids. But what was going on was that these kids were solving their parents' problems. And I think when I saw the Goonies, I was probably, like I said, my parents were getting divorced. There was probably things going on in my life that I related to and connected to, that were very personal to me. But somehow this movie has stuff that everybody's connected to, and your stuff isn't my stuff, and my stuff isn't your stuff. We've all got different stuff.
Yeah.
But yet somehow, like you said, it's what you said, Dustin. It's like I said the place is a character in the movie. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. There's something about the heart of, I don't know if it's the place or the people. I don't know what it is, but I'm genuinely contemplating moving up there. Spoiler alert.
Well, all right, we're buying an apartment complex, and we're all gonna live in our own little rooms, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We got to find a six apartment complex, right? So we can all be in there and stuff. Yeah, we're just talking about Daryl and Jason and I were actually just talking. Like I was like, the house that I rented, I got it for life. She even said, she's like, I blocked it out for you. Like, don't even worry about it. Every year you want to come back, right? And so it's like, let's go every year. Let's just go down there. And doesn't matter how many people go, and if people do go down there, I mean, we'll always have Dave down there until we move down there to live with Dave. And
I hope so.
I know he's like.
I hope Dave doesn't all of a sudden move out of Astoria. I hope he doesn't just get sick of it one day or get sick of all of us, because we love you, Dave.
I'm finally home. Yeah.
One day, Dave, I'm just going to show up on your porch and be like, I'm your neighbor.
I'll be holding him. He'll be in my bassinet right next to me. I'll be like, here's Daryl and me. Hi.
It's like Chunk and Sloth will show up at your door.
Here's Daryl. Oh, hold on. Here's Jason.
That's hilarious. I do have one thing I wanted to ask you, Dave, if it's possible. And I don't know if you're the man to ask, but I figure you are the man to ask the man if there's a man above you to ask.
Yep.
I love that deliver right there. That was classic.
Okay, Jay.
When it comes to the museum, I'm curious what's involved in donations and how they get displayed and things like that.
It's really as simple as contacting us and letting us know what you have. And we may not have room for. Go ahead.
Well, I have a lovely item here that I would love to see in the museum, because it's not something I will wear on an everyday basis, but it is the type of thing I would love to check out when I'm up in the area. Would this be of any interest to you guys?
On that jacket, we would love to have that in the museum. It'll probably be OFM 2.0 where we end up displaying that, because right now we have nothing to work with. It's a very tight space. Jay,
well, I would love to donate this to the museum, both as a replica for the movie, but also as a 40th anniversary piece, because we literally all wore it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay. That's incredible. Thank you. I love that jacket.
That's so awesome.
Jay, I love you, dude. I'm so glad
I got
you. Like, when I knew you were at the house, 6 months beforehand, and I was like, when I heard you were coming back for the 40th, I was so happy, because I just wanted to meet you and hug it out like we did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it back, and I'm glad you're part of this community, man.
I am so grateful to hear you say that, Daryl. Thank you. But can I also tell you, like, I'm so grateful that I got invited to the 40th, because I wouldn't have come on my own. It's a rough time in my life. I'm putting myself back together, I was really struggling before this trip. I can't explain why, but somehow, like, 9 and 10 months was harder than 2 and 3 months in the calendar of how long it's been since I've been with my wife. So, like, there was some emotional stuff involved. And then both Kip, Let's Run Some Red Lights, who also worked on the Goonies house and lives up there as well, he reached out saying, can you come up? And then, our friend Short Circuit House, Richard, said, has been asking me basically since I was there last, hey, come back for the anniversary. You can stay with me, stay here.
Yeah.
And everybody made it so easy for me that I couldn't say no. And that made the trip possible, first of all, because I wasn't going to go hotel hunting for, someplace in Astoria 2 weeks out on the 40th anniversary week. And I probably wouldn't have gone through all the headaches involved. I would have said, nah, it's not, I'm focusing on other things. I can't do it. But all of these fellow Astorians and Goonies that I met 6 months ago all sort of, like, they didn't get together and conspire, but individually they all sort of reached out and said, "Man, it'd be great if you could make it. It'd be great if you could be here."
Yeah.
And I can't really explain to you. You want to talk about Clem? I can't really explain to you what that means to me, what it meant to me at the time, what it means to me now telling you about it. You all have a friend in me for life. I will defend you to the death. We're Goonies. Goonies never say die. So screw that death part. I've take that death part out. But I love you guys, and it's very real and sincere because you came into my life at a time like when I needed you. It's very real for me.
Yeah, happy to be a support beam.
Yeah,
always here, bud.
But like my trip was only literally possible because of all of these local Goonies. I didn't know anything about the website. I didn't know anything about the Goonies weekend shit. I didn't know anything about that until I was already in Astoria, unpacking in the Short Circuit house. And Adam the Woo was in the living room talking about, oh, which things did you get on your thing? And I go, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know. So that's why I sort of wandered around. If you didn't notice, sort of wandered around the weekend aimlessly because I didn't. What are you doing when? I'm like,
bro, you
never
were
really had a schedule.
You were everywhere like I was.
Yeah.
We were. I mean, I think even more so, man. And you know, we rolled together for some of it, like the production crew and stuff like that. But yeah, you were all over the place, man.
Again, it came down to invitations and amazingly gracious people who were like, come over with us and spend some time here and do this thing or whatever it was. And I'm trying to be like Jim Carrey and do the yes man thing lately to try to get out of my own show. And and so it just put me in some very unique situations with some very unique people. And it made some unique experiences that I will remember forever.
Yeah.
We were trying to compare it on the show the other night when I was talking to Brandon. I said like maybe it's like camp, maybe when you're a kid, or if you ever went like on a youth group retreat or something where you go away to, you know, some other state or whatever, and you meet these other kids and have this incredible experience, but like you remember each other for life.
Yeah.
This is one of those things, and we're all adults, so it's weird because it's been a while.
Yeah. Dude, bro, my heart goes out to you in more ways than one, especially you know, for your loss and stuff. And you do have a friend, I know, in all of us, and especially me, man. I will tell you that right now. You reach out anytime you need anything. You want me to come on the show for a 5-second clip that just shows me laughing for some reason? I don't care. I'll put a smile on your face any way that I possibly can.
Yes, I do want that. You're all welcome on the place at any time, obviously.
Yeah, you just reach out if you need anything. But man, and the hearing you say these things too is it's almost like you've always been a Goonie. You just didn't know how much of a Goonie you were until that weekend hit. Yeah,
and I think you're right. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for that. I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, Rad's asking for an impersonation. You up for the challenge today? He wants you to put the jacket on and drop the quote.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, somebody. Troy asked me to do that too. What's his name?
Rad.
Rad.
That's who's
how you pronounce his name, Rad?
That's who's asking. Yeah.
Does he do this? In my mind, he's doing this. Holy Mary, Mother of God. Sorry, hang on. I choked up on my read. Hang on. Give me another take of that read.
Take two.
Holy Mary, Mother of God.
Yes. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I will tell you.
And then this jacket will soon be seen at the Oregon Film Museum.
That is so cool, man.
Or worn by Dave on Halloween.
Or worn by Dave every weekend.
Yeah.
Do you have any info on that new museum? I think I asked you about it before, but I don't remember. Like, is there like a 5-year plan, or like, is there anything like that?
I'm sorry. Is that directed at me?
Yeah.
I really
don't answer that, Dave.
I just can't comment on it because I don't
remember your NDA.
Your PR person is telling you to not answer that question, Dave.
He's like,
oh, his mic cut out again.
Oh yeah.
I think we're looking at maybe breaking ground in maybe a year's time. It would be
a little more fundraising to do.
Yeah, just a little more. I can't say exactly how much, but we're close. It's like 80% right now. It's looking
Oh,
really
is
good.
it that far? Because Bayman, when we were at the house, didn't Bayman announce how close it was or something?
He may have. I was out of body at the time. I don't know. Sorry, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
Don't say the numbers, Daryl, but that's pretty close.
Yeah,
That's pretty close to what Damon said, and this is a little later, so it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think if they have another VIP cocktail hour, but have Josh Key and Martha there, they'll reach their goal easily.
Oh my God.
I'd give
So
10 grand for
funny
that.
The funny thing of all this was, Nicole, my wife Nicole, who's passed away, we mentioned she and I used to own an entertainment company, and our entertainment attorney is, of course, Jeff Cohen.
Yes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What?
So it's funny. I've never approached him about anything Goonies just for fear of anything. I don't know. I didn't ever want to cross that line, but I'm curious. He came and did the 40th. I mean, we saw him on the panel, virtually. Do you guys know anything about that? Does he ever do things? Goonie stuff?
No.
I don't think he does.
No.
Okay.
Who is this?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jason, you have a connection with him. Come on.
Yeah, we follow each other on X, and I reached out to him like after, and thanked him for, coming to the panel, and he was like, absolutely loved it. He said, go Goonies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but I don't think he tours or does anything.
Okay. I mean, he's very successful with what he does in business. So not that he was like, not that it would take anything away from. I mean, I don't know. He also, I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing more of Jeff Cohen, Goonies wise, personally.
I was really hoping he was going to make a surprise appearance like he did at the 30th again.
He has done it in the past.
Yeah,
people use that the 25th, the 20th, the 25th, and 30th.
Yeah, Bayman's got some pictures of him where he was like signing Bayman's shirt, I believe. But yeah, he did a surprise appearance, and I don't know about the 20 and 25th. I just know I've seen Bayman's pictures.
Gotcha. Okay. I would like to see more of him because he really didn't act very long. I can't. What did he do other than Goonies? I only ever saw him in an episode of Kids Incorporated, which was like the Disney Channel show when I was a kid.
He had a couple
of Family Ties or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Family Ties. That's right. I forgot about Family Ties. Yeah.
Yeah. He was. That was.
I mean, he really wasn't an actor for very long. Oh well. Anyway, sorry. Sidebar.
I don't know why. I mean, he was such a character, and I've talked about that before. Like, he was a character on and off screen. Like, you see any of his interviews, he was still playing that chunk, funny kid. Like, he was so good. I don't know why he didn't keep up with that. I guess maybe some people just don't like the fame, and I kind of feel like maybe that's him.
I agree with that 100%. But are you talking? There was one episode. I had never seen this interview until recently, but was it Arsenio Hall or something from? No, it would have been the 80s. It would have been before Arsenio. But you're right. He was like hilarious. He was every single answer was like a pre-set up joke. He was really quick and funny. Yeah.
He was always that way in any of the interviews or any of the off-screen stuff, just.
What's the clip we're talking about? Why can't I remember it?
I don't know the guy's name.
Okay.
But honestly, that guy was kind of rude to him, and he handled it like a champ.
Totally.
Like a champ. I mean,
the guy was treating him like a kid, and the kid's responding like an adult.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. But yeah, I don't know. I wish he would have pursued more stuff.
I'm looking right now to see what it was, I don't recognize Wogan.
Yeah, Terry Wogan show was on.
Yeah, hilarious. Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that. No, I don't know who that is. But I just remember when somebody saw that clip. It was probably in the anniversary page. I'm sure somebody posted it. But I was so impressed with him. He was so quick and so clever in his responses.
Yeah, he's super smart.
Yeah, he had done a bunch of things and stuff like that up at that point, like TV shows and stuff like that. But yeah, he was very responsive, very like you said, very quick when it came to a lot of things.
Yeah,
and especially
like a Bill Murray or like Chris Farley or something. Like they were just fucking bam, bam, bam,
right?
taking the guy down. It was great.
Yeah.
Now I want to watch it again. Somebody send that to me.
No, definitely. And what's funny too is if you see him in interviews and you see him on different things that he does, he's always wearing different hats. And that's something that I just found out recently is that when at the time he did the Goonies, he had like a 350 hat collection.
No, it was 530.
530. There you go. And
Yeah,
Whatever. I heard you guys talking about that before. Because
Yeah.
every single time I see him in anything, even if it's a production still, it must be
Always a
different
hat.
days. It's a different hat.
Yeah, and
That's
like
funny.
one of them would say like Jeff, another one would have like bunny ears on it or something like that. Another one would be like some golf course from some random place he was at. I was just
So
like,
that was
that's
just
cool,
a Jeff
man.
Cohen thing personally. He was into collecting hats.
It was just him.
Probably
Yeah, it was
still is.
him. He loved. Yeah, he loved. Well, you see him when he does interviews and stuff like that, or whenever he's always wearing a hat. He's always got something on.
That was going to be the one question I asked him if he surprise showed up is does he still have any of the hats or does he still collect hats or whatever?
I thought
But
somebody
no.
asked him about the hat that he was wearing, and I thought it was maybe that was somebody else. Shoot, I was trying to think. I wasn't at the panel, so I was just kind of going off of what other people might have done. But I wish I would have got to that panel. He's one of my favorite characters. You know, when you're watching the Goonies and stuff, and the fact that he just made an appearance on the one time I had an opportunity to not go. Yeah. That would have been nice.
AC said he carried the movie in her opinion, so.
Oh, I think so. I think if you think of
I mean,
Goonies,
he's really. You know
Truffle
what's interesting
Shuffle,
is he works
right?
so much alone in the movie. The other ones all sort of work together, and Chunk has a lot of alone work.
Yeah, true.
that's very true.
So he gets to shine in those moments. I mean, he's locked in the freezer with the stiff. That moment's amazing. He's witnessing
When
the
he's
chase.
running
He's
out.
finding the RV. Like there's a lot of Chunk,
Yeah, that's very true.
And there was
and he's not on the mission with everybody. You know, they're all on their adventure, and he's separate.
He's
So
separate.
even-
He's on the separate Chunk mission.
Yeah,
even on his own,
and he
like,
hates nature.
yeah, like when he was in the freezer with the stiff, they had actually told him to like he was nervous, and so they told him to tell some jokes or something to kind of make himself feel better, and he kept making the stiff, I can't think of his name right now, laugh. So they had to completely cut that whole part out. They just stopped doing it.
Because the plastic bag is shaking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Hilarious.
How
Did you guys
hard would
happen
that
to
be to be
see?
the stiff too? You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was.
Did you guys happen to see Damon Crow's outfit?
Yes. Yeah.
Like Damon Crow, who co-built the Rube Goldberg machine, but his outfit was of the stiff. Oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Like for some of the best
He had
cosplay I've
the
ever
bullet
seen.
hole in his head, and he had the trench coat on. He had the bag up to his shoulders, and he was
It was
just
perfect. And it was a bad bullet. It was just a red dot, just like in the movie. Like it's a bad bullet hole. Oh god, it was perfect. Perfect.
He won that costume contest for a single, didn't he?
Yes.
I'm sure he won it in my mind for sure.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah, and then the boys from the Sloth Love Chunk podcast won the duo. They were in an Inferno ship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That was good.
That's like a front and back of the Inferno.
Yeah, Chunk and
that's-
Sloth. They were dressed as Chunk and Sloth in the Inferno ship.
I was waiting.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
I was waiting
The
to
Hey
see
You
them
Guys
tape in
moment,
that
that's cool.
costume because they were kind of together, like a two-piece, like single costume in the ship.
that's so funny.
That's awesome.
I
That's
wish I would have
awesome.
got a chance to go there to see that. That would have been fun.
yeah,
I mean, hard to see this, but I did get a picture of him.
Oh wow! Look at that.
It's
Oh, that's so great.
That was when, and he straight fell over too, right? He just dropped his whole body like onto the ground.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
gonna win this contest, and it was just a mic drop.
Yeah,
Literally.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Troy.
that's rad. Yeah.
Is that the mayor?
One of them was.
So
Troy. isn't-
what is this event? Is this at the prom or what is this event?
That's
is
at
all
the
taking
gay
it.
party.
Say it again.
I
Saturday
thought
night.
that the guy that was Troy was like the mayor of Astoria or something. Is that Dave?
He was
Is that
driving
correct?
the mayor has the car.
Yeah,
Oh,
that-
gotcha. Okay.
it was
Yeah, the mayor made Troy's
there
car.
They are. There's the there's the duo.
Oh, there it is.
Those are the
That's
guys
awesome.
from the Sloth Love Chunk podcast. Matt and Ants.
Is that the only Goonies podcast that you told me about, Daryl?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
the other one.
Cool. I can't wait to do that one too. That'll be fun talking to you guys. Oh, there's the car. Check out that car. Isn't that badass?
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not even a Mustang guy, but like, come on.
I
Troy,
mean-
you dick.
Yeah,
Come on, Walsh.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
Wall.
man. And then somewhere I saw a picture of a guy dressed as Bran on the little girl bike, holding on
That
to
was
the.
that was Mario.
Mario.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So great. And then was that rad as Troy holding his hand too? Then in the
Yes.
car.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So cool.
They got to recreate it. Yes. Thank you,
So
Chris.
cool.
Ted Grossman. That was I couldn't think of the stiff's name. Yeah, there you go. Ted Grossman. So Ted Grossman, the stiff. You know, there were a lot of people that did crossover stuff. Ted Grossman was actually a stuntman, and he did Bran's stunt flying off the cliff.
The bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's flying off the cliff, he did that. But yeah, there was so many crossover things too. Like, and then there was like some real family members at the end and stuff like that. Like, it was wild. Like the whole.
Oh, you mean when they were on the beach and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Speaking of stunt people and support performers, I would like to give a shout out to Dave and Jason, who really did a killer. Robert Davi leaving the jail. Open the lock.
Yeah.
I played that thing like 15 times, and I would do it again right now because it just was so. I don't have it. Open the lock. The way you enunciated was so perfect. It sounded just like
that
it.
was all Dave. I'm glad my voice didn't get picked up. Francis, but Jake Vitelli was spot on.
That was an amazing little kid. Yeah, I was so happy with that.
That was fun. I was inspired by the man himself. I mean, Davi had just left. Am I saying too much?
No, I think we can talk. I mean, that was we shot all of that.
The cat's out of the bag on that one, right? Yes.
I was wondering how much I could post too, because like I posted things without context to say what they were for. And yeah, I know it's a fuzzy area probably, but
it is
also
very
I figure we're promoting the thing that's going to eventually need a lot of promotions.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for. Yeah, we're just a little early on it. That's all. Yeah.
I think if we don't give spoilers, it's public knowledge that Davi was at the jail. But my favorite with him was some of the outtakes that won't make it into the show. That I laughed so hard.
Dude, Davi definitely had that when he recreated, and he's like, "That was 40 effing years ago. F you." That was the best.
They're gonna cut that. I think they should use it.
I think they should be. That'll be at the end, right? You gotta have some bloopers at the end.
Yes.
No, but speaking of leaving the jail, I think there were 3 exits, and I don't know which one was the best. Whether it was the Fratelli Jeep burning out, or Jay giving Daryl a ride in your Porsche, or Dallas leaving in his van in the middle of a scene.
It's the third one. It's in the middle of a take, and he blasted the music. I got it on video.
He's playing, Goonies Are Good Enough, like with the flags flying, and it was so good. I got to send him that video. Like,
I like that. I'm special. Like I got it on video. The entire production crew got it on video because it was in the middle of a take.
It was so funny. Just good enough in the background. Like, what the Dallas?
What made it like even better was that he left. He went in the opposite direction, but he went.
He did a lap. He did a lap.
He did a lap.
Wait, who did a lap?
Dallas Smith did.
With the flags and the song and everything. It was great.
Yeah, with the truffle shuttle.
The truffle shuttle.
Yeah.
People are commenting left and right. It's hard to keep up.
What a great weekend. I mean, it's one for the books. I'm sure people, everyone has their favorites and whatever, but I don't know how to top this. I don't know how to top this one. What could we possibly do?
Next year. Top it every year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already planning a Porsche road trip with a friend of mine where we're going to go up to Astoria because his daughter lives in Oregon. So like, I'm already doing that. And then I'm doing another USA Grand Tour that we do every year. I'm going to do that again in October. So I've got 2 trips back planned before the next anniversary. So line it up. Let's do this.
I'm down. I want to definitely see you guys again, man, and be able to hang out. Like I said before, man, it was the 40th was crazy. We go up to the house and, Jay, going up there and, just introducing myself. It was just kind of like, gosh, hey, how's it going? And then, you don't really have a whole lot of time to just sit and talk and hang out.
No.
And I was talking to Daryl and Jason about this and with Dave, it was like, when you go back up, when we go to hang out and it's not so busy and there's not so many things going on, that's the time you go up. Just let's have some drinks, play some cards, shoot the shit, hang out, have a good time, and enjoy being the Goonies as much as it is nice going up and seeing everything and going to events and stuff, man, sometimes it's just nice. You go to Astoria, be a Goonie, just hang out and
right, non-Goonie season. So I went the first time non-Goonie season, and so I felt, like, oh, that's great. I got the whole experience. But like when you go during Goonie season, and then the house and everything else, it was crazy.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing was a blur for me though. We met the shooting day in the tent, right, watching the Goonies on the TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but we didn't get to talk much.
No.
That day we just kind of met and hung out, and I kept going up to you guys videoing because you were gonna go in the house 15, 16 times. The anticipation was really building. I think they were doing that for Dave specifically.
Thank you.
They were trying to get him some color on his head, and that worked.
But then the next day when we found this coat, I think is when I actually got to talk to you a little bit more, even though you were so busy at the market or whatever it was.
The retro market that was down there. Yeah.
The retro market. Yeah. Cause you had your whole big display with the biggest line in the entire gym.
And that's honestly, thanks to Slobby Robbie, Gail, who's doing it with me. She reached out to Slobby Robbie because we didn't know I literally paid like a week and a half, 2 weeks before, because I didn't even know if we wanted to do it or not. So I was just like, ask her, like, let's do it. And then I realized that it was at the same time as the panel, so that sucked, right? But she reached out to him like the night before, and he was like, you come down. He goes, I got a good spot for you guys. I'm going to put you right up front, kind of front and center. And so I'm asking like everybody around me, I'm like, hey, can I use this table? And somebody's like, I don't know whose that is. And I was like, cool, thank you. And then I went in and grabbed some shoe racks, and I'm like, this guy is like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like an aluminum shoe rack or something. So I'm picking it up and setting them on tables, right, and making displays. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, but all I know is the people that were next to us was like, no, we just need this one little area, so you can take all that. And I'm like, perfect. I just fanned out all my stuff, and as soon as people started walking in, I just got as loud as I possibly could, and I was like, get your Goonies coins, your blankets, your tumblers, like, come on. And when the kids came, that was when we got a bunch of like rich stuff, right? It was just gold coins and jewels and necklaces and stuff. So the kids would come up and they'd always grab a coin, they'd look at it, and their parents would always be like, oh yeah, don't put that down, don't touch it. And then I'd reach over and I'd look at them, I go, hold on a second. And I grab the jewels and the coins and I just reach out and just hand it to them. Kids' faces lighting up. It was just like, that's the rich stuff to them. That's what they want, right? And so it was just amazing to be able to see that. I got a picture. I won't be able to.
They also want the experience of the touchability and everything you just gave them.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Kids love yellow car because it's never clean. It's touchable. Kids you don't have to be careful with it. It's not precious,
Right.
I feel like that's the experience you gave these kids.
To see their faces when they got like a headband or they got to wear the glasses and put them on, and for me it was like their parents would be like, okay, how much for those? I'm like, nothing, it's free. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, you bought a coin, we'll just there's your receipt. The kids are like, I can really have this? And I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, like, to them that meant a lot, right? And to me, that meant everything. I have two kids. I have 15 and 17. And when they were little, they were Goonies, and the older they get, they're more millennials, right? But when it comes to when it comes to being a Goonie and what that encompasses, being a father, I look at those kids and I'm like, man, you're just my little Goonies, nice. And it made me cry. It made me tear up a couple times while being there, because there was one little kid. He literally looked at me. I don't even know. He must have been maybe like 8 or 9 or something. And I gave him the coins and he held his hands out and I gave it to him. And he looked at me and he just goes, really? And his mom goes, yeah, you're good. He said you can have it. And he goes, are you sure you don't need this? And I looked at him and I go, you need this. This is your rich stuff, bud. And he goes, can I get a hug? And I was like, yeah. So I gave him a hug. And then, I'm going to send a picture. So Johnny, I'm going to send a picture. Yeah. I'm going to send a picture so Johnny can put this on. But there was another one, this girl, she came up and her first thing that she said to me was, she was like, I'm just looking. And I was like, oh, okay. And her parents didn't want to buy anything really. And I was like, oh, is there something that you want? And she was like, I'm not allowed to get anything right now. She's like, my parents can't do it or something, or I don't know what it was. I think it was the same girl. I'm sorry if it's wrong, but I'm going to send this to Johnny. Johnny, go ahead and put that. I just sent you the picture, Johnny, so you can put it on there. And And her mom was like coming over and looking at stuff. So I got him a pretty good deal on stuff, but I gave her rich stuff. I gave her glasses. I gave her a headband. I told her, I said, you go around. When people ask you where you got the stuff, you tell them to come see the big ugly guy. Right. And she was like, okay, okay, I can do that. Right. And it was really cool. I mean, I think they made it for me. The kids that were there at the market.
Yeah, definitely.
They made it for me. And I kind of wish my kids at 15 and 17, I kind of wish that I would have brought them. I didn't know what it was going to be like, I think. So I didn't want it to be boring for them, I guess, Dude, like
that is so cool.
Oh, and here's one more. Here's two more, Johnny. Those are the last two I'll put on there for you so you can share those. There's I sent one more with her, and then I sent another one with, it was kind of a funny one with Slobby Robbie.
Let me just baby 1 second. Hold on.
But yeah, but it was awesome too, because even he said he goes at one point, he goes, yours and my booth had a line, and everybody else kept walking around because nobody was there. I was like, I felt bad. Like I even told some people like
he's
in line, I was
exactly
like,
right,
hey,
though.
I was like, come back, if you want to. And I had a guy goes, I've been waiting for 30 minutes. I only got 3 people left to buy stuff. I was like, okay, So, but no, she was awesome. She was such a goonie. She actually brought like 3 people over. She was telling them about the coin and stuff. And so I was like, you can come work here for free anytime, and I'll keep getting you the rich stuff.
Oh,
so, yeah, it was awesome. I love that. That was that. And then going down, when I went down to the museum and stuff, and Dave knows this because he gets to see it all the time, but seeing the kids walk through and see the jail and look at the pictures and these things and stuff like that, and to them, I feel like that's what teaches our kids nowadays to be a Goonie. And I think that's a lost, I'll say it, I'll be the one to say it, that's a lost art in children today, is being a Goonie and what that encompasses, right?
Yeah.
And
individuality, you mean?
Individuality, it not being so butthurt. I mean, look at Chunk. How often did he get pissed because somebody made fun of him, and then he made a joke about it and shrugged it off, and he was moving on, and nobody else cared, and nobody else went. I used to get made fun of by my friends all the time. I was the short, fat kid, tall, skinny kid. I had a slur when I talked. I stuttered. I had pigeon-toed, duck-footed. If you had an issue as a kid, I pretty much had the same issue, right? So uncomfortable as a kid. And I got like to be an adult and everything changed, but I don't look back at my childhood and go, man, when my friends were making fun of me because I did this, that they hated me. No, they did that because they were my friends, because they were my Goonie friends.
You're making an interesting point. Like a Goonie,
right?
Like in Muppet terms, it would be a weirdo, right?
Yep.
And that's not really, it doesn't really come up that much anymore. You're right. Everyone's kind of like fit the mold.
You can't call somebody a weirdo because then they'll get butthurt about it. You know what I'm saying?
Like I was speaking in the Gonzo
in the Gonzo, yeah.
Yes.
And no, and that's what I'm saying is like, we lived in a different time, and we went through the 80s and even some of the 90s where like it was a different way to live. I had this thing I posted on Facebook that was it was like about a minute long music, stuff like that. But it literally said like we weren't allowed, or we weren't ready to come home until our mom yelled at us or until the street lights came on. That's when you went home. The second one, right?
Nailed it. For me, it was the street lights, yeah.
Or
if you did something wrong and you're right, somebody yelled for you.
And so if it's dinner time, right?
Somebody got a phone call and it was like, get your ass in here.
And you know what's funny too is your friend's mom would get the phone call from your mom because everybody knew those numbers, right?
Yep,
or they're outside with like a 50-foot freaking cord and they're yelling at you. I'm calling your friend's mom. Tell her to answer. So
you're right, though. You knew the phone number back then. You're right.
You knew the phone number. Nowadays, you just you Google a name or not Google, but you search a name or something like that. And I think that these kids nowadays, especially there in Astoria, being a part of all this kind of stuff, seeing this Goonie house, watching the Goonies movie, and knowing what that is about. I mean, the Goonies movie taught my kids kind of a lot of things about like my childhood and like where I came from and how I lived. And I think that they do the same things now because of how I raised them being a Goonie. Like I'm a nerd. I mean, I got an arcade in my garage. I got an 80s collection of stuff. I have 2 lockers or my chest of drawers. I literally open lockers like from a high school, and I have my clothes. So my kids see this dad that's just a super nerd, right? But I
I hear
that's
hero, by the way. I hear hero. I
Yeah.
love everything you said.
Yeah.
Just look behind Jason. He has the game console right behind his shoulder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just I think overall, I think that's what encompasses the family part of the Goonies and how we were raised. We get to pass that on to our kids, and we get to pass that on to our family members. Dave gets to see it all the time. He's one of the luckiest people. I mean, following his dream, I don't just envy you. You're like, I said this to you, Dave, when you were up there. I got two people. The guy I went with, Walt, and you. You guys are both my spirit animals. Like, you literally encompass as a person, like my different sides of like who I am and stuff, and what I aspire to want to do and be, and the compassion that you guys have for the things that you love. And I think that, again, that's another, I'm talking too much about it, but that's another thing that I see as family Goonies should. And the reason why I met you guys, I would have never really thought about going down there or doing things like that. But being a part of the 40th and then, being on that website and stuff, I started seeing so many people going and Daryl reaching out and stuff. And it was just like, okay. Like I want to do this, but like, I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to get my refund from my VRBO, and I'm going to make sure I save the money. And, and I tried to make it work for everybody that was in my group that went and stuff, and we had two non-Goonies that were there that went into it, coming out extremely big Goonies, so that was a really cool thing.
I've heard that story from a few times, somebody's spouse being dragged along, and now they're a huge Goonies fan.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest converts I know, our friend Richard Bates.
Yeah.
He never didn't like the Goonies, but he was a short circuit guy. Just happens to be in the same town. Yeah. After this weekend, he's like a hardcore Goonies guy. He's starting to collect Goonies stuff. By the way, Richard, this one's coming to you, buddy. This Copper Bones is coming to you. Either you come down here and get it, or I'll just bring it on the next trip. But I told you I have some stuff for you. This is one of them.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Richard.
Dave, I have a question
for you. Right here, Richard. I just want to let you know this is mine. You can't have it, Richard. That one's mine.
Whose is better?
Oh yeah, here, hold on. Wait.
Let's see whose fits the thing better.
I don't know where my camera's at. Oh, there it is.
Is your back done? Do you have the back, all the signature stuff on the back? I can't read it because Mouth usually does my translation.
That's the museum one, right, Jay? Is that the museum one?
I don't know. I got this. Somebody gave me this a long time ago, I think.
So the one-eyed Willie skull that Bayman got, the one that's just the head part.
Okay.
That was in the house. I don't know if he had that out or anything like that, but he had put on there that like a year and a half ago that there's a company that does Goonies props, only Goonies props and stuff. They do the wallet, they do the map, they do a bunch of stuff. I got
that's my buddy Ignacio Lamas, who does
Knast props.
Yeah.
I've known him for like 2 years. See, I was trying to get him. I told him he had a free place to stay if he could make it down. I said you can
come out too. Yeah.
He said maybe next time, and I was like, you just give us a year. He made these for me, and then he also had the map that I have, and I have the Chester copper pot. So he does a great work with that.
I can already tell you that yours are cooler than mine because you clanked them together and they sounded like metal.
Oh no, this is heavy. This is like a little over a pound.
This is heavy too, but this is hard resin. This is not metal. It's definitely not.
Oh
metal.
Yeah, these are both.
Somebody gave this to me a long time ago. I don't think it was production used or anything, but it's.
So you know where Ignacio learned to do that, make those is Donald Dean told me he's the one who taught him how to cast metal.
Oh really? Wait, Donald Dean taught him, or he taught Donald Dean?
No, Donald Dean taught him.
Oh, awesome! And Donald Dean's I've been talking with him online too about some props and things that he does and stuff, and he's amazing. The stuff that he has. He has an affinity for Princess Bride. That's my number one favorite movie of all time is Princess Bride. I got a chance to meet Carrie Ellis and about 3 years ago, I got a chance to meet him. It was still kind of COVID time, so we had to stand separate, but I actually have a picture of him and I. He signed my book, and got a chance in Tacoma here to watch a filming of that with him and another guy that was interviewing him, and then he got to talk about his book. So he got to talk about Andre the Giant and Billy Crystal and all these stories and things. And he was just an amazing person. He even said at one point, he's like, "I'll be here." Like it was like almost midnight. It was like 2 hours of waiting to like meet him and stuff. And he at one point goes, "I'd be here till 4 o'clock if my publicist allowed me to." He goes, "I would meet with every single person and give everybody about 10 to 15 minutes of time, or we could just go on, get some food somewhere and just keep talking." Like, that's how cool he was. He was just amazing with that. And so that was, he showed me some swords that he had and the dagger from Princess Buttercup and things like that he was going to, make. And it was just awesome. Oh, look at Richard. Okay. Hey, Richard, next week, you're coming on. We get round three, same group. Add Richard. Maybe Damon comes on.
Yeah.
We get Mark Marshall to come on.
Let's go.
We'll just have it'll be a huge party. We'll just center each person and people will just talk as we go. And honestly, I got to thank Mr. Knast here, Johnny, because he reached out to me before I went to the 40th, and he, kind of gave me his feelings of that the anxiety, the nervousness. Like I don't know anybody. I'm kind of nervous when I go out there, and he can contest to this. I told him I didn't know him from anybody, right? And I just told him, I said, "You go out there, I'll be out there. You come hang out with me." Like that, I just told him. I said, "You come hang out with me. I don't know you, but you got a friend. You got me." And we talked a little bit about doing a little movie podcast type of thing. Just him and I, just kind of trying to do something. I had talked about wanting to do podcasts for a long time. I've had a lot of my friends always trying to push me to do something. I did for like 3.5 years. I did I called it NFF. It was no fucking filter. It was my little live things. I would do 10 to 15 minutes of Facebook lives, unfiltered, just talking, just me in a moment. I could be crying, I could be laughing, I could be going through a hard time, I could be bringing people on. And man, I had never been so happy in my life to be a vulnerable voice for those people that couldn't get out of their pain of loss, their pain of anxiety, depression, sadness, things that they were going through. And here I was, this 6'5", 300-pound guy, a little heavier back then, but I was going through my hard times in front of the camera, in front of people, reaching out to people, bringing it out. And my no fucking filter was telling women, "Hey, don't filter your photos. Wake up in the morning, get your coffee, no makeup, just take a picture." Telling guys, you don't have to post a picture if you don't want to, but why don't you post a little paragraph about some shitty things you're going through? Don't give me your kids' A's and B's. Give me their D's and F's and ask for help. Don't show a perfect meal. Show a burnt first and a burnt second, and then your perfect meal third, because we know you messed up twice before you made that perfect meal. Don't filter. Be the authentic version of yourself. Don't filter it, and be who you are, so everybody gets to see that. Because we can't feel each other's pain, and we can't be a part of each other's lives if everything is fake in social media and AI versions of ourselves, right? So that was my little idea that I wanted to start with, until Johnny had reached out to me and made at least these first 2 shows such a huge success for being able to just bring amazing people like you guys on and talk and just have a good time. And Mark Marshall and Bayman showing up in the chat and things. I mean, we tried to get him in here. I sent him a link. He's probably like, "Damn, Dustin, stop messaging me." But people in there were like, "Come on, Bayman, come on. Hey, Bayman's in the chat," and things like that. I think that's just inspiring. Just the fact that he's even showing up on the chat just to say hi, just to be like, "I'm here, guys," because I
love that he's become a celebrity. What I watched was I knew Bayman, who was a guy 6 months ago, but watching him during Goonies weekend, my friend Bayman was a celebrity. It was crazy. It was so cool to watch. Right? People asking him to sign stuff and everything. It was crazy. Yeah.
There was a guy that was live on his Facebook at the VIP. He was kind of in the back, and he was kind of not being annoying, but Bayman was doing his speech on the porch, right? But he was kind of talking to the Facebook thing, and then he turned it, and he goes, "There he is, Bayman, the Goonie God." I was like, okay, I'll say, he went from being the annoying guy to "All hail Bayman, the Goonie God himself." It was just amazing to see that how he brought so many people together to Astoria to be a part of this 40th. I don't think it would have been as big without what he's done for the Goonie community. You know,
without a doubt. Yeah, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Yep.
yeah,
And the funny thing is, we all got to experience this together, but the fun, and anybody who went there got to experience it. But the funny thing is that it's going to be sort of like they'll be delayed. This isn't, I don't know how long it'll take for production to both put this together and for it to get on the air for us to be seen. It's for us to see it at some point. But like the cool thing is going to be in, call it 6 months, call it a year, whatever, getting to relive this experience. Like we need to do another podcast when the show starts so that we can relive all these moments and see what they covered and then talk about it. We'll almost need like I don't know what the name of the show will be, but we'll need a talking, whatever the name of the show is after.
right. Yep, talking Goondocks or something, right?
Yeah, if it's called Our Time, talking Our Time or whatever.
Yeah.
There he is.
Man.
Oh, this is cool.
Oh, there you go.
Where was that taken?
That's the one thing. I think I got a chance to meet Bayman, and I really wish that I would have got a picture. I always feel weird about asking people to take pictures with me, kind of like, hey, can I know you really quick? Can we take a picture? It's like
he's a celebrity now. He's used to it.
Yeah, well, I'm not used to meeting people that are like celebrities that, are known for doing certain things like that. I still get, I met Dave. I was like, hi, Dave.
Dave. All right, Dave. All right. One more thing to Dave. When I met you 6 months ago, you were a really, really nice guy. And I was so impressed with you. And I really liked you a lot. Who I met 2 weeks ago was the same nice guy, but you were so different. You have risen into yourself. You have found who you're supposed to become or something. The look in your eyes is different. When I watch you interact with people, there's a different confidence. It's so impressive to see. And just as a friend, I want you to know that I acknowledge it and I see you and I love you and I'm impressed and keep it up.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. I love you, Jay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah. Mic drop.
No, I can't think of a better representative for the people to meet when they first go to Astoria and get into this Goonies thing.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, man. It's
Heartfelt.
I do feel a responsibility of sorts to be the best ambassador I can be for all these people coming to visit Astoria, the museum, whatever the case may be. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there's no way I could see myself doing what I'm doing today. This is my first time doing anything like this. I had reservations about showing up here. I almost tuned out.
You messaged me before the show.
It's a first, and but I feel that responsibility to show up here as well as I do at the museum. And thank you for having me. Thank you. This has been incredible. I love you guys. I love you.
Yeah.
Thank
Now
you.
I got a funny question to ask you though, Dave. Okay, this coming from me. Who wins the mayor race? You or Bayman?
The mayor race
of Astoria.
Oh,
well, that's an easy one.
No.
It's me, of course.
Yeah. It's
No.
I have to agree. Bayman's a private citizen, but he's involved with the municipality, so I have to agree.
I might move to Astoria just to vote for Dave.
Yeah, we share. It's all sharing. We share the clout. Bayman's on a whole nother level, though. I'm just the face of the Oregon Film Museum. Bayman has. We talked about him already, everything he's done already. I'm not going to reiterate everything, but the man has changed the face of the Goonies experience in Astoria. Yeah. It'll never ever be the same, and it's gonna evolve over time. It's only great things are on the horizon. This is just the beginning, folks.
We couldn't have a better head Goonie, and we couldn't have a better ambassador, Dave.
I agree.
Thank you.
Well
There
said.
you go.
Thank you very much.
The
Thank you.
Goonie ambassador, Dave Knight.
The fitting titles.
That's for
Dave,
sure.
Dave Knight, the protector of the Goonies.
I'm here for
Sir,
it.
Sir Dave Knight.
Yes, I like that. Ooh, that's good.
Sir
Yeah.
Dave Knight.
Dave, put in a good word with the people at town hall in case I end up moving up there because I want to represent Astoria as well.
Right?
Oh man.
I'm just gonna have a shirt made that just says Astoria Security and just walk around and hope I get picked up by somebody, right? Just,
Perfect.
somebody's like, hey, security, I'm here. Astoria Security. Actor.
Beautiful.
Did everyone see how good Dave looked in the cop jacket? Like he's the only one that this actually looked good on.
It fit well.
Yeah. Well, it just looked it looked right on him.
It looked right.
It's great on you too, Jay. It looks. I'm surprised you're giving that up. You've been talking about that for 2 weeks straight.
I know. I really wanted to make it. I don't need to own it.
Did
It
you
was
see
more
that?
like when am I
Looked
going to
back
wear
down
it?
at the jacket like he didn't want to give it away. He looked down. He was like, "Wait a minute, what did I say earlier?"
Yeah. Wait. What? You said it's 2 years away, right? My logic is this is a heavy coat with a fur collar. I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a lot of opportunities for me to wear an Astoria police coat around here, except when I come up to Astoria. So I would say maybe I could borrow it if it's cold when I'm in Astoria, but otherwise it should live on a mannequin or something in the place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We will make it so.
I'll also be a mannequin. Get a job as a mannequin.
That could be weird.
Just looking for a job in Astoria. That's all I'm doing here.
Yep, exactly.
Richard said it good right there. Dave is Astoria's MVP.
You know what would make a great Astoria shirt? You've seen the shirts where it's got like the characters' just first names like down it and like just by the character list, you know what it is, you know. So they should have an Astoria one and say, you know, Dave, Bayman, Richard, Seth, you know, like what would be like a fifth to round it out, you know, like the well-known historians.
That's interesting. You just started something. There's going to be trading cards for the 45th anniversary, aren't there? And it's going to be like representatives,
And
just
Dave's
like there would have
gonna
been
be
cast
Sir
cards
Dave
for the
Knight is
people
gonna
back
be
in
on
there, like cast and crew.
Right. We're gonna go back down. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back down next year, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl, you know, Jason, we're just gonna go down there. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna, you know, got the house, and we're gonna go walk into the museum. We're gonna see Dave down there, and he's not gonna recognize us. He's just gonna be like, "How you guys doing?" Talk to my people. Just go talk to my people.
The doors are still.
It already kind of felt that way. Didn't you? Somebody else had the same experience we did, where we went to go say hi to our friend Dave, and we were told he's busy.
Which was funny too. I was like,
the gatekeeper said no.
No, I'll pay to get in. Like I just wanted to let him know that I found the coin and it said to come down here, and he goes, not right now. I was like, that's fair. Okay, yeah. Like I don't know what to do. I'll walk away.
I'll tell you guys about that later.
You don't need to. We know about it. All good.
No, yeah, you're good.
All good.
You're good.
All good. No problems at all.
Trust me, Dave, if I had that much of a problem, I'd have just picked two of them up and carried them inside with me and said, sounds good, I'm going to meet Dave anyway. I'd have just bent the jail cell. Hi, Dave.
Nobody keeps Dustin for Dave.
Trading cards around town. There's the next scavenger hunt. Find trading cards.
Right, so he gets it, trading cards, yeah. I couldn't think of the name of them.
It's a great idea.
But even as important of a role that Dave played, like he was still humble enough to run water. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many
gasoline.
I had a lot of good times that weekend, but to run water for that thing in front of the museum, that was a dream come true.
Can I? You were nuts too. You ran that whole thing back full.
Yeah.
I had Goonie blood pumping through me, man. I was capable of anything during Goonies weekend.
Leaking Rocky Road and Baby Road
through our veins, man. It was like nothing I've ever experienced before.
I know, man. Like Sloth holding that big rock up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like that. My buddy Walt just chimed in and said the Goondock Saints.
Yeah.
More to come on that.
Right.
Richard, there's an Instagram on that. You should follow it.
Yes.
Let's do it. I'm down.
The Goondock Saints. There'll be more to come on that from some friends who are in the chat currently.
Correct.
Oh yeah. This has been so much fun, you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Knast, for hosting this. Thanks for putting it all together. Thanks, Dustin, for inviting me.
No, this is
100.
I mean, appreciate the support. Like I said, we're just a small podcast. I mean, we're up and coming. We're closing in on 3 years of being live. So, I mean, we're still growing. I mean, check this stuff out, and like it's night and day. And I'm just a small town guy with big dreams. So, doing these last 2 weeks have just been amazing.
It's awesome, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to start thanking people in chat tonight, but like,
man, I think the chat has been amazing too, with people in there and chiming in, especially like when Damon jumped in, man, everybody was the first one to point him out. Like, hey, Bamon's in the chat. Bamon's in the chat. It was kind of cool. But just being able to interact with all these people that we got a chance to meet and got a chance to hang out with down there. And some of the people that reached out to me afterwards are like, hey, I got your coin. I didn't get a chance to see you at the market, but I got it before. And they send me pictures and I'm just like, thank you so much. Right. Like to be able to share in the Goonie adventures with everybody else. I think that's the reason why I want to keep this podcast and this crew just going, just keep it alive. I mean, there's so many stories and so many new things that are coming out and new adventures and what's going on now. And then not to mention, you just segue into like next week, there's another 40th anniversary. And the next week, there's another 40th anniversary, So it's just been fun. It's been so much fun. And I wasn't lying. Next week, Monday, 6:00, round 3. We're gonna get Richard in here. I'm gonna call Mark back. I want to get him back in here because he was great and amazing, and I loved having him on at the beginning too. That was so much fun. And then of course all you guys, the Goonies crew right here. I'm just saying this has been fun. You think you get all of us into a room, it'd be chaos, but it actually was pretty controlled chaos. Great stories and I'm not gonna even Jay. My heart goes out to you, like I said before, when everything, comes to meet new people and things like that. I just want to let you know I'm always here. And without any other context to go along with it, to Jason, same goes to you, bud, for everything. So I just love you guys and here for you guys if you guys need me in any aspect of anything, even if it's just an ear to listen to for a little while. I know I talk a lot, but I know how to use
like some of those house coins because there's a lot of people who didn't get them. Just make up different numbers. Nobody will know.
Yeah. I got one right here. I'll just go ahead and duplicate that one up and just be stamping away.
I don't need one, but I know so many people who are like, oh, I didn't get a coin. I didn't get a coin. Oh, I didn't get a coin.
Oh, I had a guy reach out to me. He goes, hey, I saw you got a coin. Can I buy that from you? And then I was like, no, man. I found this with my buddy. Like we went down there. It's like a whole,
the bench story was killer.
Yeah, I was just like, if you go, if you went to the 40th, you'd understand and things like that. And he was like, well, I didn't go to the 40th because I couldn't afford it, and I don't understand. But what if I gave you $100 to have one of those coins made? And I was like, what if I just made you a coin and you gave me $100? And he goes, well, I want it to be just like that. I was like, nah, it could be like one of my coins. How about that? And he goes, no, I want one like the house. And I'm like, no, bud. There's a whole separate reason why the coins that I made look different, that they're not the same, that one has a house on it, mine have something different. I said, there's a reason why there was a numbered on the side. There's a reason why I didn't number mine.
Yeah.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, like that's their thing. And that was down there for all Goonies. And
I had a long conversation with Adam Goldberg about that. Like you're right. There are very serious reasons for why this is how you did it.
Yeah. And being down there, not being able to be in the VIP, but to know what was going on with a lot of things, having that coin and holding on to it, I think there's no way I'm getting rid of that. And if I have an opportunity to get one for a friend or something like that, a true Goonie that's not trying to just make money by selling them on something, I'd probably buy it for them just to make sure it stays in good hands. Kind of like the Goonies house is, kind of like what Dave's doing down there with things. I mean, we got to protect our own. And I don't think that exploiting to make money as a Goonie for something like that. You know, people were bragging about finding 2 or 3 of them and stuff, and then saying, well, I got mine, I'm just going to sell the other 2. And I'm like, why don't you give them away to somebody that's been dying to look for them? Like,
yeah,
didn't cost you anything to find it. You had fun. You already have one. Just give it to somebody else who, you know, is down there doing
where's
the
your
same
Goonie
thing.
spirit?
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
I think that the coins, there was a small 1% of people that didn't kind of encompass that Goonie spirit, like you're talking about, right? And they took it a different way. There's going to be those people, right?
There's always going to be bad apples, yeah.
And but we're protected. Sir David Knight, he is protecting us from that stuff.
That's awesome. Well, you know, I asked that question as a joke, but I'm really glad that I did, because it gave you a chance to answer very seriously, because I'm glad I got to hear your answer.
Yeah. And when I gave that coin to Bam before, I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't know that he was going to do something big like that. Like had nothing to do with me, right?
Really?
But no, I didn't. And people were asking
your mitzvah turned into this whole thing.
Well, I gave him a challenge coin because it meant something to me when I was in my motorcycle club, and when I had raised money, and I was friends that were in the military. You know, I have things where people have passed away, and I've gotten their challenge coins and things. To me, I'm a nerd. I'm not in the military, all right, and I'm not in the motorcycle club anymore. But I'm a Goonie, and so having that original one that I had made, that is this one right here, that is the one that I gave Bayman as well, that just says the Goonies never say die. It's also substantially thick. I don't know if you can see how much it's raised in comparison. It's actually probably twice as thick as the actual Goonies coin from the house. And then on the back, it says on it, for this could be our last drink together. And because the challenge coin and what it encompasses is basically, for many years back to the Roman times, there were always souvenirs given to warriors and to soldiers and such, right? And the challenge coin part, it spans 2,000 years. But more recently, in the Vietnam era, they would give these to soldiers, and the soldiers would have their challenge coin from what division they were in, you know, like in the Army, Marines, whatever. And if you would go into a bar that you were non-infantry and you didn't have your coin, then you would have to buy a round for everybody in the bar just to get in and drink with everybody. And so then they would do a coin check, and everybody would bang, and they'd bang their coins and do a check. And if you didn't have your coin on you, you'd have to buy a round for everybody at the bar. So I said, well, not everybody's a drinker. Not all Goonies are drinkers. So when I gave that one to Bayman, and my boy Walt that's in here too, when I sent it to him, I did the printout, and at the very bottom I said, and for those that aren't big drinkers, well, you just do the truffle shuffle. That's how you make your payment, right? You get up in front of the bar, you do your truffle shuffle, and that's your payment, right? And I just thought it was a fun thing to do. And when he said, you know, I want to do something with this, you know, and to me, I don't care what you want to do with it. You're Bayman. You do whatever you want with it. I'm happy to even have given you a coin to maybe even spark an idea of doing something like that, because it's a long storied tradition of what that encompasses. And, you know, I think it's great that he did that and made it a numbered 500 coin giveaway, but scavenger hunt that you had to find. And man, nothing says Goonies better than that. You're finding the rich stuff. You're on your adventure. Yeah. You know, you meet new people, and it was all. I mean, I almost got beat up by Jason, Daryl, and Johnny when I got mine, but luckily Dave was there to save me. And
we thought we had that coin in the bag. That was Michael's coin, and then you show up and you're like, "It's right here, buddy."
I know. You know what's funny too is I actually, because my boy Walt had found it and he had given it to me, so I actually went back to the flagpole because the clue was, "Hey, Mikey." So like from the scene where his dad's waving to him, right? So I grabbed the coin, and Johnny had walked by there, Daryl walked, everybody had walked by the flagpole and looked down around. I dropped the coin and that back down to the ground. I was like, "Here it is." And I reached down, and Johnny was like I was just there. Look, there was nothing there. And I was like, it was just there. I think Daryl, you said, "Where was it?" I was just there. I was like, it was just right here like this. He was like, "How did I not see that?" And I was like, "I'm just joking. I found it early." So it was awesome. If it wasn't for Walt, my friend Walt Parrish, who went down there with me, like I would have I wouldn't have found that. I wouldn't. I probably one of you guys would have gotten it before me, and such a great friend to, you know, that's him telling me, like, if it wasn't for you putting this together and helping me to get down here for the 40th, and he'd been to 2 other anniversaries, like he said, I wouldn't have been able to go, you know. So and he moved to Tennessee from Washington, and so for me it's a 2.5 hour drive. For him it was way longer. So but yeah, shout out to him, and man, I love you guys. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you so much for having us.
Before we go, I've got one thing we got to do. Okay, I don't remember doing this at the house, but we got to hold true to being Goonies. I need you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I will never betray my Goondock friends.
I will never betray my Goondock friends.
My Goondock friends.
We'll stick together until the whole world ends.
Where's this
We'll
coming
stick
from?
together until the whole world ends.
Through heaven and hell.
Through heaven and hell.
Nuclear war.
And nuclear
war.
Okay, nuclear
Pals
war.
like us will stick like tar.
Good pals like us.
We'll stick like tar.
In the city or the country.
In the city or the country.
Or the forest or the boonies.
Forest or the boonies.
I am proudly declared.
I am proudly declared
one of the Goonies.
One of the
Goonies.
Congratulations on being a Goonie and taking the oath.
So high five.
That's the 3rd time I've done it.
Where did the oath come from? Did you create that, or is that some part of the history? I don't know.
There was actually a scene that they had
no shit
in the well that they cut out. Yeah, where where they were also
they make Andy a Goonie.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, supposed to be what she was supposed to say. But they cut
no shit. Thanks for that, Daryl. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Daryl, that was so awesome. Thank you. That was so awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
Thank
Good night,
you so
everybody.
much. Good night. Yeah, definitely.
Jason,
have a great night. Richard, you're coming on next week. Remember that. You're going to be a part of this chaos with us.
Are you talking about Richard Bates?
Yeah, he's coming on next week.
Can I come on? I want to see him. I love him. All right.
Yeah, no, you're definitely coming on.
All right.
Better.
Next weekend.
Well, all right. I'll be here. I was here all night.
Okay. I know. I was at one point, I was kind of like, where's Jay Ryan at? And then
I've been watching. I was
Johnny
here at 6. I was watching from the beginning.
Yeah, right. And so I was like, well, it's like we got to chime him in. We got to get him in here.
No, I kept trying to type to Mark Marshall. I don't know why. He's I told you the story. He's such a nice freaking guy.
He is. He was awesome. He was awesome. I want to reach out to him, see if he wants to come on next week again. Maybe a couple of new stories. See if he has some time. Make him a regular as well.
I bet he would.
Yeah.
All right. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Guys. Everybody else have a good night. Thank you guys all for coming on.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Never say die.